All right, a very good afternoon or other time appropriate greetings to you folks here on Speed Gaming 3. Welcome to our Sunday weekly Super Metroid Link to the Past combo randomizer community race. We got a good one for you today, folks. Farfalu and Maniacal are giving you a hard mode seed, and we got a nice full house today. We've got a total of looks like 14 entrants in today's race. I like it. I am Captain MB13. I'm joined by Leslie Pro. How you doing today?
Doing well. Hope everybody had a good Christmas, good holiday, however you celebrate this time of year around the world. And for hard logic today, well, if you thought some of the things that tripped me up last time I played normal logic were bad, this mode's got some more things that are a step up from normal, like Upper North Fair Hell Run, Suitless Meridia. You could even have to do spring ball jumps.
Ah, yes. For anybody who was attending the hard 2v2 multi-world last week, you will know that was quite the roller coaster ride when it came to hard required tricks and bad locations for everything pretty much being on their individual mushroom checks.
Rando's gonna rando. I wasn't here for that because, well, work and life, because those are things. But hey, it doesn't matter what rando it is. Rando's gonna rando. Heck, for all we know, a green gate glitch could be required to get morph ball. I hope not, but that was I was shown, and that's pretty gross.
Let's not go there, we hope. But yeah, we should be kicking off in just a minute. It looks like the race time room has not kicked off yet, so we've still got a couple minutes. What are you looking to see in particular from our runners in this seed today? Besides, hopefully not Green Gate glitching for Morph Ball.
True that. I mean, the wave gate glitch is another one that could potentially be required. Upper Upper Brinstar's mock ball could also be a thing, but we shall see.
Indeed, and the race time room has kicked off, so we'll be catching up on Restream in just a second. And for those who are not familiar with the Super Metroid A Link to the Past combo randomizer, so as it turns out, Super Metroid and A Link to the Past both use different halves of the SNES's memory, so you can mash the two ROMs together and have a coexisting game without the SNES crying for help. So, in order to make this work, there are 4 cross-game portals located in various map rooms or other useless locations in Super Metroid and A Link to the Past respectively that allow for cross-game transitions. You will most likely see both of our runners use them in a moment as we kick things off, as the first cross-game portal is the Crateria map station. And we're off.
And on the left, it's worth noting that Farfalu is playing with a different sprite. If I'm not mistaken, that's the Dark Samus sprite?
I believe so. And both runners will be going immediately into A Link to the Past. There are only 2 items in Logic and Hard mode. The first is Vanilla Morph Ball. The other is the High Jump E-Tank in Crateria.
Yep, you could be required to do a damage boost of some kind to get to that location. And we've got ourselves dueling hook shots.
Ah, finally, that's a good start here. Hookshot's not only good for some early movement, but it is one of the keys to East Death Mountain once we cross that bridge, which we're not looking for much to get to. We can honestly just get away with just Morph Ball for that, for East Death Mountain access. Neither runners have elected to perform a map check and figure out what the story is with our Light World stuff. We do get a Tier 3 tree pull from Farfalu, which reveals that it was small magic. Bush Crab's giving us 5 arrows. Looks like the Tier 2 is also small magic. Either that or Farfalu got hit and I wasn't looking.
Nah, it looked to be the same, and that is a bolt coin on the Lumberjack ledge. So at this point, there's a non-zero chance of having to go up Castle Tower at this time.
Yeah, Ether is one of the most ambiguous medallions in there because the only thing it's really required for is dungeon access for Maya or Turtle Rock if need be. So that'll be something to watch for sure as we cross into the Dark World, find our Light and Dark World pendants and whatnot. We do get some bomb money, though, in the Lost Woods here.
Here's our first pack of super missiles. Our runners will be looking to stock up on those, as short of full power beam, that's your best DPS. Just don't use it against Phantoon, you'll enrage. And we got only... Ooh, that was only a crystal at Eastern with the green pendant somewhere in the Dark World.
Yeah, I think we actually have vanilla pendants for Desert and Hera. Unless the blue and reds are swapped. Either way, they're the useless pendants anyway, so same magnitude of value.
Farfaloo heading straight for back of the bar. See what's here. Probably gonna wind up buying bombs after this. Well, that is a glove.
Okay,
Hookshot
and glove early are pretty nice. Those are items that you definitely don't want to have to go looking for later. We only need a lamp now for Death Mountain access, so that could potentially be working in our favor. But it looks like both runners here taking the same route here, opting to try and see if they can get a lucky bomb salvage before spending their Lost Woods money.
And Farfaloo clips the chicken into the wall. Want to be careful. Well, hold that thought. We got a morph ball and a chicken hut. Maybe the cuckoos were sitting on it thinking it was an egg.
I was just about to say that. You beat me to it. But yeah, that is a very large chunk.
Expect our runners to be going right to Super Metroid sooner rather than later as a result of that early find.
Well, here's the thing. Morph Ball is certainly nice, but I don't think they're going to immediately yeet over to Super Metroid until they at least find some power bombs, especially now that there's a fire rod in the back of the well.
Absolutely, and it is worth noting that for those who are used to standalone Link to the Past rando logic, that fire rod isn't a check for dark rooms.
Not a logical check for...
You still need the lamp for that.
Yeah, it's not a logical check for dark rooms, but it's still A, the most powerful weapon in their arsenal at this point, albeit a little magic hungry, and B, it still does like torches letting you see.
Worth noting that the bomb expansions and arrow capacity expansions, they're not the purchased ones, so you're not getting a refill to the top just for finding one.
Not a whole lot going on in Blind's Hut this time around, but still quite a very fruitful Kakariko packing a glove, morph ball, and fire rod. The morph ball and the glove are the only two immediate ones, but the fire rod's another thing that you don't want to go searching for later.
And there's our first set of cheeseburgers, aka power bombs.
Yeah, one set of power bombs, at least it lets you explode bomb blocks, but ideally our runners will want at least 2, maybe 3 before starting to do their Brinstar dives, if they even have to do that at all.
That is a cane of Burna on the library shelf. Our runners might come back for that, they might not. And that's just swapped vanilla red blue for the pendants.
It is swap vanilla. Okay, thank you. But yeah,
going right through the race game. I like this play. Except it's a pack of missiles, so Maniacal's going to get a small amount of time back for checking it first. It's one of those early game gambles that can sway a bit of time here or there, but it's early enough to where that can easily be mitigated. And we've got just a green rupee in Link's house.
Alright, and Farfaloo is going to take that glove and immediately check the back of Escape. I like this play especially. Early glove usually indicates maybe check as many glove lock things as you can, because that's This in particular is 3 easy checks. If you find the key, then the rest of the front of Hyrule Castle minus Dark Cross is perfectly in logic.
Well, that's a sword, a key, and a map. With Morph Ball bombs in the dam, ooh, we could be seeing some IBJ action here.
Yeah, that is indeed a can fly, and that actually may persuade earlier Super Metroid diving simply because bombs eliminate the need for power bombs in a few areas. But with the key in the back of Escape, the whole entirety of front of Escape is in logic and guaranteed to have items. The only exception is, of course, Dark Cross, as we mentioned before. To answer question, chat, yes, there is version 11.1 introduced a new font for the combo randomizer, which has more characters per line.
A heart container at Dark Cross, not a bad find, but probably not what Farfaloo wanted to see there.
Yeah, at least there won't be any logic snafus with the back of Escape and any item there being lamp locked. So because we have the key in the back, we can easily just check all of the front and then call it a day.
Maniacal's bailing out, not even checking Ice Rod Cave. Interesting.
Yeah, he's going to do back of Escape. We'll see what he does after this, if he chooses to go front of Castle or decides to go to Super Metroid. Or Sequence Break Death Mountain. It's entirely possible with that glove. I say Sequence Break Death Mountain, but Death Mountain's in logic with just Morph Ball and Power Bombs alone at this point.
Yeah, it would just be the old man location that would be sequence broken. But that's a good sequence break to do because you get to restart from Death Mountain afterwards.
Very true. I do not know how that crab did not impact Farfaloo there.
I do believe it was stunned from the hook shot, so Farfaloo missed a chance to check the stun prize, but more opportunities could present itself.
Ah, okay. It should be noted that that lamp cone there... what was I going to say? I think
I know where you were going with that. That
yeah.
lamp cone always shows up when a chest is opened in a dark room, so our runners and our viewers aren't wondering what did they find in XYZ location.
Yeah, that is a very nice quality of life improvement for sure, but it looks like Farfaloo is going to check Ice Rod Cave while Maniacal is going... where is he going? Oh, Sequence Breaking Death Mountain.
It was a rupee stash of 100 rupees in Ice Rod Cave, so Maniacal only missed out on a healthy money source, if anything, and I believe Farfaloo's heading for front of Escape. With an early sword in play, I like this move because there's a chance of there being something required here. Now, some might have opted to hold off on this until climbing Castle Tower, but this seems like as good a time as any to check this out, as well as check Uncle.
Yeah, this is a grand total of 5 items here, and they're not really that hard to reach. Oh man, only giving us, looks like a tip for his trouble.
Same with Uncle. And our first bottle is found in the front of Escape. So now Sick Kid is opened up.
Maniacal is immediately going to rush East Death Mountain here, check the multitude of items that can be found here in Paradox and Spiral Cave.
Yeah, both of these plays are very good plays for this point in the game. It's a question of which play is going to pay out better.
Or will they both, and they'll both have to kind of high-five each other?
An energy tank and missiles to start Paradox Cave. Now, the energy tank is important. You need at least 3 to complete Super Metroid.
3 to complete Super Metroid, and given that we are playing a hard mode seed, we may need additional energy tanks to do various suitless hell runs, which may include 2 tanks for Crocomire, 3 for Ice Beam, and 5 for Bubble Mountain. To this point, however, we've only seen the one. That is the most missile-packed Paradox Cave I have ever seen.
That Paradox Cave is a full house. Missiles full of big 20s.
Yeah, that was literally a full house. I like that one.
Yeah, I think the only other time I saw 3 of anything in there was first race I did commentary for. Standalone Z3R had 3 swords in there.
Wow.
Speaking of energy tanks, there's one in the boomerang chest.
Alright, that's our second energy tank for the Hell Run to Crocomire, if need be. I think we're still missing a couple of things before we can get down there.
Yeah, we don't have speed booster to break through there, and we don't have weight. Actually, scratch that. This is hard logic. Wave beam is merely a suggestion here.
You say that. Watch it show up in Spiral Cave.
Watch it show up just because I said something. Oh, that's super missiles in Zelda's cells, so more ammo. I mean, it paid out. And we got our first move to Super Metroid, Farfaloo pulling the trigger.
Yeah, it looks like Super Metroid is the play, because neither of those moves yielded any interesting items of note. Although Maniacal has not yet checked Spectacle Rock, but even still, that's only another item, plus 1 extra look.
Oh, he's doing delayed wall jumps, I believe.
Yeah,
While Maniacal's in Business Center.
Yeah, this is in logic to reach front of Gauntlet, I believe. Whoa!
Hello!
Told you Super Metroid was the play, and double whammy there. We got a Master Sword and Pegasus Boots, and we're probably gonna need that sword to get to Castle Tower for Aga 1.
Yeah, that's a very good chance of that, but yeah, that double play in Business Center for Maniacal, that's looking pretty good, but we still got the front of Gauntlet, which Farfaloo is looking at, and with both Morph Ball Bombs and Power Bombs, I believe this is doable. Just gotta be careful, though.
Yep. Gonna want to get an energy tank from this, Oh! Okay. This seed has suddenly amped up very quickly.
And he loses it right away because of a death in the acid.
Even still, that's nothing another try again won't fix. But yeah, Super Metroid, definitely the place to be, because it's got Boots, Master Sword, and Moon Pearl.
Just about the whole Aga 1 care package.
Yeah, the only thing we're looking for is a lamp.
I think Farfaloo's looking for extra energy at this point. Definitely keep that in mind, folks.
Yeah, the nice thing about Moon Pearl being there is that you don't need it right now for Super Metroid. You can absolutely come back for that anytime. But looks like he's going to go check back of Gauntlet real quick just to be absolutely sure that there isn't anything else that needs to be picked up back there. Given how Super Metroid's played out so far... Oh, it's another sword!
That's between our 2 runners. As Maniacal hits Kraid, that's Tempered Sword. In terms of offense for A Link to the Past, that's where you really want to be, because the NMG run finish at the top level finishes at Tempered without silvers, and Maniacal sits Kraid right down with a very nice quick kill.
And it's a safe bet that, oh! And it's...
Okay, game is really starting to strongly hit at Aga 1 now. As Farfaloo first tries the Mock Ball.
Yeah, the cape does two things. It makes us not have to concern ourselves. Oh, hey, ice beam. It makes us not have to concern ourselves with that cane of Burna on the library. Number one. Number two, if our runners if Farfalu for whatever reason decides to not get those swords, could still do Aga 1 with just fighter sword.
And there's a hammer.
Well,
which means we have Dark World access.
Yes, we do.
Well, once Farfalu goes back for the Moon Pearl, that is.
And Farfalu will go back for it, absolutely. It's just a question of when is he most comfortable, which I would wager would be after another E-Tank shows up. Which so far is not happening. Oh, there's our butter sword.
We're not even 20 minutes in and we've accounted for all 4 swords. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, guys, gals, non-binary pals, swords will not be an issue in this seed at all.
Yeah, you do not want to Bryn skip today, that is for sure. And Farfalu will most likely pick up the Pegasus boots and the other sword in Business Center, so Farfalu will probably be running this game on Butter Sword. And I do love me the good early offensive plays. Little going on here in Red Tower so far.
Farfalu having a bit of trouble with that morph, seems to be popping out of it without even intending on it. I mean, one other quick note about Ice Beam is that this will make Turian a lot easier.
Yeah, last couple of seeds I've worked on, we had to do with Iceless Turian, but not the case this time.
And on Maniacal's side, an IBJ up Red Tower, which is the only way for Maniacal to get up in this situation, because no high jump, so can't jump from the ledge he just passed, which is possible. I've done it myself.
Yeah, and unfortunately hasn't picked up Farfalu's Ice Beam yet, so has to do this the hard way.
I mean, there are times and seeds where routing Brinstar this way is the way to go, but today is not one of them.
Farfalu deciding to walk past the item Big Pink and come back for that in a minute. And yeah, it looks like he's checking it now. Ooh, some
300 rupees. That's Zora money right there.
Yeah, and Zora is in logic with just the glove alone, so there could be something on Zora today, but given how much we have already and how much is already open to us, that's very unlikely, because we've already got 2 Dark World dungeons in Thieves Town and Skull Woods that we can just go ahead and zip right on through.
Yeah, early Fire Rod makes that a valuable play. Oh, well, Maniacal now has something that Farfalu doesn't. A second energy tank, but more importantly, the screw attack.
Yeah, this is looking to be one of those seeds where thankfully it is not the Super Metroid randomizer followed by a Link to the Past.
Yeah, so far in this seed, it seems that both sides of the randomizer are feeding into each other very, very nicely.
Alright, Farfalu very happy to see that second energy tank on his side. And down in Red Tower, Maniacal finds even more money, which he's going to pick up, not realizing that there's a couple of 3 hundos nearby in Green Brinstar.
That's the thing about Randomizer, is that these seeds are played blind and no routing ahead of time, so the decisions that are made are on the fly.
Yeah, and Screw Attack in general is just a nice movement item because, especially in Lower Norfair, it lets you just rip through a bunch of enemies. And obstacles.
And it's missiles at the CWJ spot, which I believe... Is that a thing in hard logic? I want to say it is.
I do believe it is a thing in hard mode, so we could see Rex ship early if our runners chose to gamble, but I don't think they're going to do so, given what they have available to them at this point. There's just way too many less stressful locations out there for now, especially in early Dark World.
I do believe Farfalu... Yep, he's setting up for a wave gate glitch.
Has plenty of super missiles to work this out, but does get its second try.
Third shot, nicely done. Doing that without high jump isn't in logic, though, even for hard. But it is in logic if you do have high jump.
Alright, well, Maniacal's got 2 tanks in tow, so is going to be heading to front of Gauntlet to get Moon Pearl and ultimately Tempered Sword in his case. Probably going to just take a quick safety save of the ship to be half safe than half sure. Oh, no, he's going for it. This is quite gutsy, because if he does take a KO here, he's going to basically have to do... I don't remember if he saved at all in Kraid's Lair or Red Tower.
I don't either. However, a lot of the power bombing and bombing that Maniacal did is he takes care of a yapping maw as a preemptive strike option.
And another thing, Screw Attack just absolutely breaks this as well, so...
Yeah, that's the other part I was going for. Screw Attack just makes tearing through these walls so easy that if you've ever tried to do this before getting Screw Attack, it just feels so good.
Alright, Maniacal about to get the nice, about to really sharpen things up here with that Tempered Sword.
And a piece of heart is a nice bonus for a very nice sequence.
Yeah, our Link to the Past health actually hasn't really been brilliant so far. I think we ended our Link to the Past dive with 5 or 6 hearts, so we really don't have a whole lot of defense in a Link to the Past. It's more, we're certainly running a glass cannon seed for the moment, it looks like. To answer a question in chat...
basically if you want a glass cannon comparison, it's like we're running as a more physical style of the Pokemon Alakazam, a Pokemon that hits hard but has soft defenses.
Oh yeah. And to answer a question in chat, Farfalu did see the Moon Pearl in front of Gauntlet, but unfortunately took a KO in attempting to go for the back. So Farfalu knows about the Moon Pearl, but does not have it.
Yeah, Farfalu opted to move on and return later, which isn't a bad decision to make. It's just a decision he's going to have to make at some point, is to return there, as Maniacal has now claimed their Ice Beam. Now will Farfalu be sitting Kraid down, or are we going to have ourselves a prom night situation?
So yeah, at this point, it doesn't look like we're going to see any new checks for a few minutes here, so they're going to kind of just high-five each other, go through each other's checks. Hopefully someone checks the rest of Retro Brinstar. We'll see the remaining few items back there. Oh, and it looks like Farfalu's taking Kraid to the prom.
But even so, it was a trip that was brief, as now Farfalu has the magic cape. Now, another thing this does open up, with Dark World access being known, is that this does also open up Bumper Cave.
It does.
Something there.
Yeah, we've got Bumper Cave, we've got... we need Mitz or Mira for King's Tomb still, but... yeah, the options are on the table, especially just the general western section of the Dark World is honestly the best place to be right now by the looks of things.
It would be, although personally, I would prefer Mirror being found, because just Mitz means you would inadvertently leave the ledge in a state we like to call an orphan check. Meaning the only time you'd be going back there would be to just check that one thing. And yeah, it can be annoying to go back for those, but sometimes you have to. Heck, sometimes these seeds mandate it. And to answer chat, we did see East Death Mountain from, I believe, Maniacal only.
Yeah, Maniacal went to EDM to take advantage of that hook shot. Farfalu has not, but Farfalu should be heading in that direction pretty soon. After wrapping up these checks. Getting boots, getting that sword.
Missing the fire enemy, unfortunately, so gonna have to come back and kill it on the way out.
That's not really... Doesn't really cost too much time, thankfully.
Yeah, it's just really an optimization that costs seconds.
And with Tempered Sword in tow, Farfalu may now decide to skip back of Gauntlet and not get Butter Sword, because the damage increase from Tempered to Butter isn't really that significant by comparison.
And Maniacal got the wave gate shot first try. Nicely done. And especially without high jump, that's not easy.
Yeah, unfortunately, Farfalu's not going to be coming up with anything too big here for a while, as... actually, no, correction. Hammer does allow Farfalu access to Tower of Hera, and with a fire source in tow, that is a clearable pendant dungeon. Oh! That and there's Lamp.
Well, now we know where that lamp... And Gravity Suit? Well, there goes Suitless Meridia, if anybody wanted to see that today. Not seen it from Farfalu.
Yeah, Gravity Suit's free today. Now the next $1 million question is, where is that mirror? Given how this seed's been, it's probably just chilling in Retro Brinstar somewhere.
That's definitely possible. Well, it's not at Green Hill Zone missiles, I'll say that much. That was just 3 bombs. Yeah, Maniacal did not check that.
Yeah, Maniacal kind of noped out of Death Mountain right away to go to Business Center after finishing East Death Mountain. Must have, I assume, figured that the majority of the rest of the items weren't going to be, or Spectacle Rock wasn't going to be brilliant. But to be fair, that's not going to inhibit Maniacal that much now, although Gravity Suit does give some parts of Meridia.
That it does. And Maniacal just found our second Power Bomb pack in a spot they would be in the vanilla game, and blue boomerangs, so both boomerangs are accounted for.
Well, that's the main boomerangs, but we're still missing the best boomerang, which is the green one.
Oh, if only they thought of putting that in this game. And there's an energy tank in the ceiling.
Hey, vanilla.
And he's just gonna bomb jump up to it. I mean that's a little simpler than a damage boost, but Maniacal's gonna come back for that. And Screw Attack made the road up to Billy Mays much easier. What do we have here? Supers with a heart piece. Must have been a Valentine's Day gift that was left behind.
Maybe. But yeah, Farfalu's probably going to route in at least the first couple of checks in Tower of Hera. It is a pendant dungeon, so I can understand wanting to stay away from it for now. But if you can get the 2 items early, maybe you'll get lucky. But at the same time, you don't want to leave the last item in Hera behind either.
Absolutely not, because that's a situation that could easily be a recipe for disaster. And this time, and the second time around, Maniacal opted to use the enemy as a platform to get to the ceiling E-Tank. That's also a strategy that can be called upon in normal logic. FYI.
Yeah, freezing enemies with Ice Beam is pretty common. I believe this is our first peek at Old Mother Brain here from Maniacal's side, which is another energy tank. So that's our 5th energy tank for the Hell Run to Bubble Mountain.
Yeah, game's definitely starting to point towards Norfair in that regard.
I wouldn't say it's starting to point just yet. I'd say it'll start to point there if Thievestown and Skullwoods are both barren. Because right now I'm very anxious to see this left side, to see this West Dark World.
As am I, but what we're going to see right now is a Spiral Cave and a 230 missile. And that's our high jump boots.
Alright, high jump plus screw attack. Pretty nice combo for endgame.
And Maniacal is off to Link to the Past, presuming that he's heading straight for Dark World here. Or is he heading up towards Sahasrahla? No?
I think he's just decided to visit and not save and quit just because he's already in the neighborhood. Just decided to take the Hype Cave portal over here. We're only flippers away. I just realized we're flippers and mirror from Swamp Palace. So actually, no, that's going to be a while. Let's see if we get a Dark World map check here. Where's that last pendant?
Well, odds are we're going to need just about every item we typically would need, outside of maybe... Oh, it is in Skull Woods.
Our 5-6 crystals are inverse vanilla.
But they're still vanilla for all intents and purposes, so... Pyramid Fairy probably not going to have much in terms of hard required progression unless that's where the Ice Rod wound up.
And go figure, Skull Woods is the green pendant. The one of the 2 dungeons we can instantly do already.
Here's Spring Ball.
Well, we have Gravity Suit in tow, so...
So, Spring Ball jumping might not be necessary. I don't know that for sure, but hopefully we don't have to see it.
Well, that'll depend on where Space Jump is hanging out at. Because if we don't see Space Jump too soon, then Gravity Suit plus Spring Ball, yeah, we're probably gonna... That might come up in Meridia a few times. Or the Lava Dive to Lower Norfair.
Yeah, there's a number of ways of doing that when you have Gravity Suit. Gravity and High Jump, you could probably just do a Gravity Jump to get it. I know we've done that recently.
Farfalu is electing to go for Butter Sword here. Still
Considering how rough Gauntlet can be to get into, I mean, it's going to take him a bit longer because he doesn't have Screw Attack, but at the same time, it makes sense because you also get the extra piece of heart that you would have gotten elsewhere here, so why not?
Fair enough. But yeah, Farfalu now has Dark World access and Butter Sword. And Maniacal's going straight for Catfish here. The pyramid itself just had a heart piece.
I mean, the play made sense when you consider that oftentimes it's these one-off checks in Randomizer that tend to have stuff, or so I've observed. This time it's only 50 rupees, but that ensures Maniacal has both Pod and Catfish money. Or Zora money. I had the right idea, but the wrong thing.
Yeah, we actually still can't logically clear Pod yet without a lamp, which we know where it is, but we need that mirror.
Bonk Rocks just said missiles, so it wasn't there.
Oh, and Bo, chat points out. Yeah, Bo has been conspicuously absent lately. Bo is one of those things that has, especially for Links to the Past, the widest variety in my view of where it could end up. Like, it could be so early, or it could be on Laser Bridge.
Yeah, absolutely. And also to throw this out there, on seeds where you have Eastern and Pod as pendants and it's not a pedestal seed, that bow could be in Ganon's tower. Extremely unlikely, but it is possible. Maniacal is going to go ahead and get the Cane of Burna. This might be insurance for other parts of the game, but we shall see.
Yeah, maybe a backup easy weapon for Thieves Town, for blind specifically.
With this many healths and knowing how well these runners play both sides of this rando, I don't think it'll be necessary, but the jury's out.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening as we go through here, but it looks like heart containers have certainly no longer become an issue for Maniacal after checking, because Hype Cave had two heart containers by itself, so it was really Health Cave, if anything.
Yeah. Well, maybe health for Link to the Past, maybe not necessarily Super Metroid, but we seem to have that covered to this point.
Yeah, we've got 5 Super Metroid E-Tanks out there at least. Now we're gonna see if Maniacal or Farfaloo decide to check Skull Woods here and decide to clear for that green pendant, because that does increase Skull Woods' item count to 3.
And
Not to
considering this, we have not been over to the Sahasrara area yet at all, would make that literally one stop for all 4.
Yeah, I wonder if our runners are maybe gonna wait until they get at least Mirror, so that way they can try and combo Pod and Eastern. And ideally, Bow to go with it, but they have a bottle, so they could potion glitch the Bow section. Nothing a trip to Waterfall Fairy can't... actually, Waterfall Fairy they can't reach without setting up a fake flipper right now, but there's half magic in the back of the brewery.
That's a nice luxury item to find. I mean, it helps even more short of Tempered Sword, but in this situation, actually, that's something you just don't say no to. And speaking of stuff you don't say no to, Maniacal just came up with the flute. Yes, I know it's shaped like an ocarina, but that's how they named it in this game.
Yeah, they wouldn't give it the Ocarina title until Link's Awakening, I think.
I believe that, yeah, that sounds right.
Quite a number. I think that was at least 2 items in the... I think that was 2 items in the front of Thieves Town, so that's 2 in the back, but they don't have to worry about the big chest, but given that they already have Hammer.
Now, I see in chat discussion about whether bow is in logic for Ganon or not. The only way a bow wouldn't be in logic for Ganon, I don't believe this applies to Randomizer. I believe this only applies to standalone Link to the Past rando. You would have to have a fast Ganon seed be an option, plus Eastern and Pod being pendants. And it can't be an all dungeon seed. Hopefully that helps clear things up just a little bit.
Alright, so yeah, we've got both runners kind of meeting up here in Thieves Town. Maniacal is going to be a little ahead of the draw for now, just because of getting to the Dark World faster.
We have missiles in the big chest, so that leaves one item unaccounted for. It could be up ahead in Blind Cell or on the boss itself. It's a rupee horde. So as a result of looking at the Thieves Town items overall, while the flute doesn't do anything for us right now, as soon as we get Titan's mitts, then the mire area gets opened up. Okay, Blind, I know you got jokes.
Blind's talking about bakers, and it's making me hungry.
Yeah, it's doing that to a number of folks. And Maniacal stays on the Blind script for a flawless victory. Very nicely done. So the way the Blind fight works is that the boss is programmed to act in accordance with how you act. So if you act the same way, Blind in turn will act the same way. This allows you to create, this allows you, as well as the runners, to create a script as to how the boss acts. Oh, and there's the ice rod in the sea house.
Well, no ice rod hunt today. This has the makings to be a pretty fast seed, all things considering. We're not looking for too much left at this point. No sign of any other coins though.
Good save by Farfaloo on that Blind fight, and that's where the invisibility items help. And Bumper Cave is just a big 20, so Maniacal sees this and is moving right along.
Yes, deciding to still put off Skull Woods for the time being. Again, I can understand why, given how many items we do have, but at the same time, there is a grand total of 3 items in up for grabs in Skull Woods. Now, unfortunately, we don't have the mirror in the book to do a pet check with it, because that's my favorite post Skull Woods activity. But who knows? We could still see some fancy shenanigans later. We could have like flippers on pet or something. Alright, looks like both runners are going to meet up and do some digging. They've been kind of following each other's footsteps ever since they grouped up after Super Metroid. This is an awful lot of digs. 27, 28, 28 digs for Titan's mitts. Well worth the effort.
Yeah, I was gonna complain about number of digs, but when it's something that's hard progression, then it's worth it.
Well, that does now put the mire area and the smith chain into logic.
And yes, the smith chain can be done mirrorless. In fact, the game can want you to do it mirrorless, which the first time I had a seed like that was when that logic first rolled out a couple of years ago. I was not a happy camper on that day.
But it looks like Farfaloo is going to elect to take the World Tour option here, while Maniacal goes and immediately returns. The Smith gets ready to check hammer pegs in the meantime.
This only pays off of mirrors here. And it would be a dirty place for it. Just missiles.
Alright, Farfaloo's going to route in Hype Cave really quick. Grab those extra heart containers.
Might as well, because they are here. Also gets Spring Ball and a reserve tank.
At this point, we're over 5 tanks, so the reserve tank doesn't really carry any significant weight. The Spring Ball's nice, though.
Well, if anything, the reserve tank's a backup in the event something goes wrong.
And with Titan's mitts in hands, Maniacal's going to go ahead and check King's Tomb.
I guess in Maniacal's case, the blacksmith is going to learn how to grave rob. Dangerous side job, don't do it. And that's a red shield. We're
That would have
also
been
gonna
nice.
get a flute activation, folks. Uh,
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise if able and remove your Minish caps for the Hylian National Anthem. And Maniacal's following suit.
Yep, we're about to have ourselves a taste of the ducks are amuck. Prepare for trouble and make it double.
Alright, what were the Smiths cooking up for us today? Oh no, I just used another food term and now I'm hungry!
The Smiths are actually making dangerous arms.
I cannot wait for the day where guided missiles actually does become a thing in a Zelda game.
Should we be giving Nintendo ideas?
I mean, they already had the homing shots in Star Fox, and that's basically what they are, so... So let's see where Farfalu decides to go next out of this. Where is he going? Pyramid Catfish, maybe? Probably Pyramid Catfish.
We got a shed check. If ether's needed to enter, then we know Castle Tower is required. It's Bombos. So that's one of two checks for Aga 1's requirement. The other one is Turtle Rock. And there's Speed Booster.
Alright, we've got both of our dashing items in-game now, so, yeah, don't know why Maniacal's going that. Oh, yeah, Maniacal. I think Maniacal thought about Checkerboard Cape, but forgot he doesn't have Mirror. Watch it show up right here in Big Bird's item.
Just note that because of no gravity suit, or rather no various suit, the entirety of Lower Norfair is out of logic, and with not enough power bombs to be able to do a Crystal Flash, would be ill-advised.
Yeah, Maniacal's not going to go and face Big Bird right now with this equipment. Had a decent chunk of super missiles, but you definitely want to have some more for that fight. Because Big Bird can be quite annoying with those.
I do believe Maniacal is going to check Dark Death Mountain on this trip, which makes sense because now you get the knowledge as to whether Aghanim is required or not. Plus, you get to make a few checks along the way.
Yeah, I don't think Maniacal doesn't know about Gravity Suit yet, so hopefully Maniacal does go to Spectacle Rock and pick that up.
If he has that, I would picture Meridia to be next.
And yeah, don't blink here, because Farfalu is hot on Maniacal's heels here. Alright, 2 items in Super Bunny Cave. Let's see what they are.
Arrows and power bombs.
Well, the power bombs, I think they're not going to say no to at this point, because power bombs have been a little less than ideal so far today. Chat brings up a good point. We have Spike Cave, since we do have Hammer and an invincibility item.
Moment of truth. Bombos for both, so the Bolt Coin is not required.
A lucky break for Aga 1 this time around.
Yeah, absolutely. Had that been Bombos, that would have been on Lumberjack Tree. That would have been a worse proposition because of a potential requirement for Ice Palace.
Well, luckily that's not an issue today because Fire Rod was free. But there's the mirror.
And that's a mean place for it too. Hook shot. Yikes.
Yeah, that puts Lamp into logic, so we can now full clear Swamp Palace. We can do a lot in Pod.
Flickers.
Oh yeah, Swamp needs flippers, that's right.
Maniacal's gonna like what he gets when he mirrors here, I bet. He's going right for Spike Cave. This is interesting. Nope,
I think
in his mind he realizes his mistake.
I think that actually placing the mirror portal there is not a bad idea. So he could just waltz right back and go to Spike Cave. Unfortunately, he now has to go get that.
Yeah, very true. That mirror drop was just to see what was on the island. Nothing of value.
We could still have flippers on pedestal despite everything we've seen. Oh.
Hover?
He's trying. Nope. Crash on takeoff. Alright, Farfaloo is going to go and do Spike Cave now. So now Farfaloo's actually pulled ahead of Maniacal here because of that extra pit stop for Gravity Suit. Math Magic giving Farfaloo more than enough time to pick up those 20 rupees.
Maniacal, on the other hand, opting to use Kano Furnace strats.
Yeah, either or works for this scenario, but Farfaloo's going to go ahead and grab that speed booster now out of Meyer's shed, and with Mirror in tow, is going to be able to route in Checkerboard Cave. And furthermore, we'll be able to route in route in Desert with Mirror.
I just realized something. With what we've picked up, we now have a pedestal in play, because all 3 pendant dungeons can be done.
That is true. The Mirror did put Desert Palace into play. So yeah, Pedestal is in play. Pedestal could have the Bombos Medallion as well. There are still a couple of nasty scenarios we could be dreaming up here.
We're getting a Crumble Tower check from Maniacal, and it's a reserve tank, so nothing doing there. That's not getting picked up.
Now, luckily, we do not have to worry about Desert Palace being boots locked today, as we got those nice and easy in Business Center.
Good thing is that small key would have been a boots lock.
Yeah, and right now we're really here for the items more so than the pendant, but it looks like Maniacal is hell running to Ice Beam. Let's see how this plays out for him. That is one thing we've actually been relative... It's the other green rupee.
Yep, it's Greg's twin.
And I do believe that was a... Was that a big key, or was that a... I think that was actually a big...
big key was in the first chest.
Okay, so you could have... Okay, so the pendant wasn't boots locked, but both items, it looks like one item will be on the right side for sure. Now, it's so tough to say in this case whether you should, whether I would rush the boss or not, or at least kill them almost for the pendant, because there are so many checks in play right now. You've got so much in Super Metroid, still quite a lot in A Link to the Past. But there is still the potential of at least 2 important items being on. Whoops, wrong button.
We've all done that no matter what game we've played. We have hit the wrong button and paid the price.
I hope that it ends up being justified and that item is important. But look at this, Maniacal is gonna go and do that Meridia dive with Speed Booster. This is a really good idea, and especially since that has led to a red cane.
That's gotta be a cane indeed, and this is one where it is much easier by a long shot to do the short charge to get that. Because the regular charge that you have to do for that room is awful.
Yeah, that's a big break there for Maniacal, but we'll see if Farfalu manages to grab an advantage here in Checkerboard Cave. Right now, the only two things that could really help him are Flippers and Bombos, but it is another bottle. Or Variasuit.
Yeah, that's a short charge I've had to learn on my own time.
Mama Turtle, in the meantime, has a big 20 and a littler 5.
Yep, a Bloopy and a big 20, while a Gina, in this case, has Blue Mail.
Okay.
Not terrible.
Yeah, Link to the Past health has gotten a lot more sturdier, but Blue Mail just adds a nice extra layer to that. But with Samaria, that does, well, we still need Bombos, but that would have made Myra a full clearable dungeon. Once we get Bombos, we can actually clear... We're actually literally looking for Bow, Bombos, and Flippers for Go mode for Link to the Past. So we're not looking for a whole lot here. I can't think of any particularly crazy hard mode tricks that were required, though.
Outside of maybe an Upper Norfair Hell Run at this point, that's the only thing I can think of. But Speed Booster really mitigates that because you can just take Frog Speedway to get over to Bubble Mountain.
Yeah, definitely. This is definitely one of the more gentler seeds I've seen in a long time in terms of convenience and defense items. Especially offense, though, has been nice. Getting Butter Sword at 20 minutes.
Yeah, you do not see that every day with Randomizer, folks. Normal logic, hard logic, doesn't matter. It's a rarity.
And I think with high jump boots in tow and speed booster, I do believe Farfalu is going to make the wreck ship play here. This may pay out if Bombos, Flippers, or Bow are hiding here. But Farfalu will have to get to Main Street eventually to pick up that cane.
Yeah. Not an easy location to get to, because when you're trying to 100% this game for the first time, that Main Street missile item is one of the hardest to get. And Maniacal has come up with Powder. Now, while that only gives access to one check in Magic Bat, that one check is still quite important because it could still have something. And Powder also has great utility too, so it's a very good find.
Yeah, given that we're still slightly less than ideal for our defensive setup for A Link to the Past, there's another blue rupee and the other shirt in left side sandpit.
Yeah, that would be red mail for Farfalu if he wants it. Maniacal has decided, nope, not worth it. Next!
Yeah, we'll see if Maniacal decides to grab that on the way out, perhaps, but that's a bridge we don't have to cross just yet.
But would Maniacal try to ice clip to get to Shack Tool?
Oh, well, there's also...
Mushroom.
So, Mushroom... So, all the remaining fetch quest items were in Meridia. Except the shovel.
Yeah, on the way out, I would definitely pick that mushroom up because it's honestly, in terms of nutritional quality, that mushroom's going to be very good because it's growing in a place where a mushroom can really grow.
Oh yeah, plenty of water. Not a whole lot of sunlight, though. Although some mushrooms actually don't need a lot of sunlight, if I recall correctly.
Yep, that sounds right. And we got a Bottoon on Maniacal's side while Farfalu is taking on Phantoon. Doppler strats being the way to go here because missiles are your best DPS here. You hit it with a super, and you're going to do 600 damage rather, but you're going to send Phantoon in an enraged state that lasts about 45 seconds. So in terms of time, not worth it.
Maniacal needs to give Botwoon a couple more missiles here, but, okay. Yeah, Botwoon was being a tiny bit uncooperative, but manages to sneak in the shot at the end.
Speaking of shots at the end, Farfalu hits the final super to take out Fantoon. When it's the last hit, the super is definitely the way to go because Fantoon just blows up. Now, we've all messed up the count for that on a number. I know I have personally missed the count on that and had to wait out the enrage. It's not fun.
And Maniacal like to do a quick farm for a health and missile refill there, past Batoon. The item it was just another blue rupee.
Going for full halfy here. Misses the launch window, though. And that just goes to highlight how difficult full halfy really is, because your movement has to be extremely tight and precise, because you don't have a lot of... Your margin of error is very tight. Oh, that's a precious energy tank if I ever saw one.
Yeah, Maniacal going to be happy to see that, because besides Shine Spark, not really any heavy-duty weapons available against Dragon here.
Yeah, no grapple beam, no charge beam. For Maniacal, I doubt it's much of a problem, though.
Very true. And in these settings, it should be noted that Charge Beam could be in GT as of version 11.1.
Yeah, it could also be behind Ridley. I had that last night in a standalone SM. That was gross.
Oh my.
Plenty of ammo, but still, the void stands. I get 3 beams in one room, and charge is there? Yeah, that is gross.
Now, Farfalu's got to be a little careful here with Spiky Room of Death. Gravity Suit does not do a lot to protect against spikes.
Maniacal opting for rapid fire strats here. Nicely done. I didn't see what was on Farfalu's side.
I did. It was the last shield.
Yep, not worth it. Especially since we've already got ways of getting around Laser Bridge. And we've got ourselves power bombs. So now what Maniacal's going to do is he's probably going to want... Oh, he's going to use Speed Booster to get out of there. You could also gravity jump to get out of there if you have to.
It does help that they have high jump boots as well. High jump is another major Meridia movement item that just makes life easy here.
Yeah, high jump's really a good quality of life item to have, I've found.
One thing that is kind of slowing Farfalu down, I noticed, in Wreck Ship is the lack of screw attack. Never went to Alpha Power Bombs to pick that up.
Alpha Power Bombs might get looked at on the way to Meridia, though. So that could be one of those on the way out checks.
Fair enough, and if Maniacal ends up coming to Wreck Ship immediately after Meridia, he's going to end up full clearing it as well, because he's still got to find Bow, Flippers, Bombos Medallion. So if they end up high-fiving, they're going to end up probably checking full clearing their respective areas with the same gear, because Kane doesn't do anything in Meridia, so we may end up waiting a minute before we see another particularly fresh wave of new checks. Yeah, Flippers, missing Flippers, though, is not a bad thing, though, because that's a couple of dungeons that, okay.
Oh, it's in the sky!
Well, that changes, that spices things up a little bit. That makes Pod and Eastern full clearable.
And with Mirror, what Farfalu can do is go to Pod first, Mirror after clearing it, and this is a way that a number of runners of standalone Z3R like to do the Pod and Eastern area, back to back. Now, granted, not every seed's going to allow for that, but it's preferred, it's a lot easier, and it's a lot faster.
Yeah, and this kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. If Farfalu finds something, so Farfalu and Maniacal are both going to have to swap places to get these items. Depending on Farfalu's routing, if he dips Meridia early, or dips Meridia right after this, for example, and gets Screw Attack and Kane, he's in business. If Maniacal is going to do the same thing, where he full clearing Wreck Ship looking for Bow. So it's going to be after they both do that we're going to really see things start to spice up here. We're going to see some splits, I hope. I think Farfalu may have gone for an extended coffee break.
Yeah, these seeds are long in particular, so it's not uncommon for runners to either have to get a drink or use the bathroom. And I speak from experience on that. Because that bowling cutscene is a good. That, as well as the tile room of Hera, are both good points to step away if you have to. Well, assuming that you're set up on the coffee break glitch, of course.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, yeah, neither runner has dipped Pendant Hera looking for any items, despite it being a pendant. Or despite it having 2 items, I should say, especially because it's a pendant.
Yeah, one thing that I've found with not only watching but playing these seeds myself is that other runners will shy away from the pendant dungeons. It's a risky situation, but sometimes it does have merit to go in there.
Alright, Maniacal returning for that mushroom. And he's on the right side. Let's see what he decides to do here.
Yeah, this is going to be an attempt to. I think he's going for the other side of the pants room to do an ice clip to get to Shack Tool.
Certainly looks that way, and with high jump boots, I think you get a little extra window for this.
Yeah, you don't have to do such a tight jump. Whoops,
Un-
I don't
un-
think Maniacal wanted to do that.
I don't think he wanted to do that either. Yep. And I think he's deciding, nope, no longer worth the effort.
Yep, so the only way Shack Tool we come back for, I think in Maniacal's case anyway, would be with Grapple Beam.
Safe bet. Alright, so now Farfalu finally has picked up that screw attack. And I'm sure he's going to be happy to see that energy tank.
Yeah, indeed, considering he was down to 186 health, that was very well timed.
And yeah, it's a safe bet Meridia's the next stop for Farfalu. He's got the same equipment as Maniacal. Is going to be rewarded with Cane of Samaria and Mushroom. And Powder. So yeah, there's going to be some incentive to go back to A Link to the Past once all is said and done here.
There's actually incentive to go back right now and deal with those 2 dungeons, but we shall see if Farfalu goes for that. Wait a minute, this is different. Could be going for a gate glitch coming up here to get back over to... Wait, Waterway maybe?
I think Farfalu is going to go check Waterway real quick, because it is otherwise, if you leave this behind now, it's basically going to be last locationed.
Third shot on the gate glitch. Unlike with the green gate, with that particular gate, you can use either a regular missile or a super.
And I think Maniacal's going to go ahead and check X-Ray real quick. I do not believe we have seen this check yet.
No, we have not, and this is not a check that I would personally do unless I had Space Jump. He's doing it the risky way, over the spikes. This is dicey.
Yeah, he's already lost a large amount of HP. He's got to be very careful here. But look at this. That Waterway check led to some water shoes. There are flippers in Waterway.
Well, that's a place that makes sense for flippers, but that is an absolute home run of a find for Farfalu, because now it's just Bombos and Bombos alone for go mode. So he is in a very good position right now. There may be Crystal Flash coming up in Maniacal's future. There's a non-zero chance of it.
Sorry, I had to step away for a split second. What did you say?
Judging by Maniacal's setup, he had to wait for the waiver to come around Yep, he's gonna Crystal Flash to get all his health back at this point, and then just power his way through.
Just barely had enough missiles and supers to pull it off.
He had to wait for the waiver to get over to the other side of the room in order to do it, because otherwise he was at 8.
Oh my.
Yeah, it was a dicey proposition.
Farfaluna deciding to skip out on the E-Tank for now. Might get it on the way out.
Way out seems like the better idea because he'll be able to get his health back. And thankfully, when going to Billy Mays' room, when you have gravity suit, you don't have to worry about landing in the water, because landing in the water without gravity is just an awful time.
Especially if you don't have high jump. And yeah, now he's going to pick up the energy tank. I'm wondering how soon Maniacal is going to, Maniacal might actually be turning around and going to get that those flippers right now.
Which for Maniacal would open up Swamp and Ice Palace. However, we know where the bow is, so as a result of that, he'd still have to do Wrecked Ship.
Yeah, and either way, both runners are looking for Bombos Medallion, which, given what Bombos is currently locking, that's probably one of the better case scenarios, because then that means Meyer and Turtle Rock both can't have it. So, a very lucky break in that regards. The only major handicap at this point is Various Suit.
Yeah, that is yet to turn up.
Yeah, because our energy tank count right now with the extra reserve is only around 8 or 9. Depending on how many reserves have popped up. So I find it unlikely given the current equipment, especially since, with Screw Attack and High Jump Boots, maybe not so much, but I don't expect a Grand Hell Run to Ridley at this point in time just yet. Probably not unless...
It's worth noting that, Farfaloo bonked on the Shine Spike. Oh, that looks so much easier when you have Screw Attack. I still can't believe this was required in the last feature I was on for. And he gets it off. It's just missiles, though. Okay, that might be one of the more unique uses of the Kappa emote that I have seen in some time.
Very quiet in the race time chat, I noticed. Everyone very laser focused on this seed. Given how dense this seed has been with items, there hasn't really been any like major Baron points, except for East Death Mountain. Unfortunately, we have to fight, I called Gold Torizo Big Bird. I'm calling this one Petty Pigeon.
That is a good name for it, because it's really a quick fight. Like, one super missile into the stomach, and it's already on its weakened phase, and the second one just finishes it off. Next!
Exactly. And he's... I'm sorry, not Petty Pigeon, Picky Pigeon, because the fight only triggers if you have bombs.
Well, to be fair, he's both petty and picky, and we got Farfaloo going for an Alcatraz escape briefly. That is not easy to do, and having high jump makes it even harder, I bet.
Yeah, the extra vertical momentum is not really that helpful in this case, but it looks like Farfaloo is going to forego Meridia for now and go back to Link to the Past.
Maniacal, well, they just high-fived. Maniacal thought about it, and then it's like, nah, I got more that I gotta do here. Which is the right call, I might add.
Yeah, now at this point, it's really just going to come down to where that Bombos medallion is, because that really will decide how our runners decide to route the rest of this seed. It'll decide if they want to finish Link to the Past and do SM later, maybe do the Grand Hell Run if more energy tanks show up, or if they want to keep looking for Variasuit. But first,
Farflu's gonna check the Sahasrala's closet. By not clearing Skullwoods of green penance required, we'll have to return here, which is 2 supers and 20 rupees.
it's like the equivalent of getting 2 7s and then the grapes in a slot machine.
And Maniacal just went back for a ship refill.
Yeah, I think, yeah, Maniacal's deciding to skip out on Rex ship for now. I think the Cane in particular, the Cane and the Flippers do open up quite a couple of nice things, because Cane makes Ice Palace a cakewalk thanks to the Icebreaker glitch.
That's one I still have to learn. Now, we know Maniacal's not finding Mo here, but could still find something of value. We haven't seen this yet.
There's
We're
the
not
big
getting
key.
far in Pod without doing a potion glitch or having a bow, as Big Key was right away.
Yeah, it's almost practically a god pot here, depending on how the small keys play out. But yeah, unfortunately,
I only had like 1 or 2 god pods that actually showed up when I was in go mode. Those feel so good because you just take this whole big dungeon, which is meant to be your first stop when you first get to Dark World in the vanilla game, and you just blast through it.
alright, Bowlock side had a pair of small keys.
And Icebreaker led to just arrows, while Farflu just bonked over and got another small key. I don't know if I'd charge right at that enemy with the boots, because that just literally just knocks you back.
I mean, it's not weird if it works, as the saying goes. But yeah, not much coming up here so far in Pod. Mostly, well, as you would expect, the Palace of Keys. But yeah, now items are finally starting to come in, but it's missiles and another key. So I think Harmless Hellway, this could be either key or item at this point.
I'm thinking item.
More like Palace of Missiles, jeez.
Well, I was wrong. It was actually a key this time.
Now, Maniacal is, looks like Maniacal's found all 3 items in Ice Palace, because he's not even bothering to go for the big chest and going straight to Cold Stare. At least that's what I thought he was doing. I might be just getting a refill. Yeah, because his magic's
got
low.
Magic refill written all over it.
Yeah, his magic's a little low.
Magic.
And I completely wasn't paying attention to what Farflu just picked up in the Dark Maze. I'll check my playback for that one.
That last chest was a compass.
And the one
which,
up top,
ironically, that chest is a small key in vanilla.
yeah, the other one was a 5 bomb cap upgrade. This is a red rupee, so yeah, nothing going on here in Pod for the moment. I am going to laugh if Varia or Bamos are in the front of Eastern, though, because we had access to that since the beginning of the game. Which seems to be a recurring trend in the races I call, is that you could have had this for 90 minutes.
While Cold Stare just had a small key.
So the dungeon was Samaria locked. Not that it matters for Maniacal, but that's going to be Maniacal's second crystal. So yeah, despite being 90 minutes in and having all the items that we do have, both runners are only on 2 SM bosses and 1 or 2 crystals.
That does happen sometimes in Randomizer.
We're also going to finally get our first look at the Zora area check in here after quite some time.
It's good routing. Do Ice Palace and then take the portal up to the waterfall area. And you're right there, why not?
Waterfall of Missing.
Or in this case, a waterfall of "Oh, I missed!"
Ah, the classics.
Single arrow on the ledge in Zora's domain. Are we getting a scam fish or an extortion artist here?
I'm hoping for the shovel, if I may be honest.
Farfalu shuts down the turtle party. And that's a
Ooh.
charge beam! I would rule that extortion.
Yeah. Now, charge beam really good to have at this point. Although charge ice, the only beams we have, not the most powerful setup, but still, charge beam is really nice. Especially considering Ridley's still on the chopping block here.
In terms of special charge combos, that gives access to Ice Shield, which isn't very powerful, but it beats nothing. And if you're thinking it's useless, think again. They actually use that in low percent against Mother Brain. Low percent ice, more specifically.
Interesting. But yeah, that was not a particularly fruitful pod dive, and that is going to be it for Farfalu's second crystal.
And we are bringing in a new audience right now. Welcome, Speed Gaming Francaise. This is the Link to the Past Super Metroid Combo Randomizer Weekly. Today we are playing Hard Logic, featuring Farfalu on the left and Maniacal on the right.
All right, Maniacal making the play to Swamp Palace, courtesy of those mirror and flippers. All right, so it looks like Farfalu might still be an item short in pod, so is turning around going for vanilla big key chest.
Yeah, it was good routing. It's just that when you still have to get this, well, maybe Farfalu is gambling on a key being upstairs, which would have made this particular check moot, but that's not the case.
And there's the last item, just a pack of bombs. So that's it for pod. Farfalu's probably going to just mirror and go do Eastern.
Bingo! That's exactly the play. Now, the first few checks that are in Eastern are Sphere Zero checks. Only the big key chest could potentially be blocked by a dark room, but for these runners, that's just a suggestion. The boss is bow locked, however, so if you dip this early, there's a non-zero chance of you coming back here, which is why some folks do not like coming to Eastern early. Me, I don't mind it. That's just me.
Yeah, it really is case by case, but especially given how dense the start was and how we got a lot of hints of where to go early without having to go to Eastern, I think, and given what we know now, skipping Eastern seems to have paid out pretty well for both runners. Simultaneous super pickups, by the way.
Yep, 2 different dungeons. Even with Charge Beam, it's still helpful to pick up supers, just on the simple fact that Charge Ice isn't very powerful and supers still remain your predominant DPS. Also, do not panic, folks. I know Maniacal is flooding the key, but with a trick called Diver Down, this isn't a problem whatsoever.
To answer your question, Chad, if you're referring to Ryko Rider's exhibition for SNES Superstars, that run was last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And it was a good run, too. I would definitely recommend watching the VOD back. For those who do not know, Ryko Rider plays SMZ3 quite a bit nowadays. Definitely worth watching, definitely worth a follow. I would definitely recommend. Interesting. Is the VOD not on YouTube or on Speed Gaming's page?
It might be embedded in other videos, because the marathon ran pretty much nonstop, so multiple games were in the same VOD. The best way I would recommend is to look for VODs from 7 days ago and look at the chapters of each VOD to double check. Not much going on left side swamp for Maniacal, unfortunately, and it doesn't look like anything's popped up for Farfaloo either.
No, that's the thing with left side swamp. The times where you go there, it generally has nothing, but the time you ignore it is when it has something, so you keep on. So it's left side swamp is its own little creature, I swear it.
Don't have to tell me twice. Seeing Diver Down being used again by Maniacal to get the sunken backside chests, which are a red rupee, and the map.
And that map is pretty waterlogged. Not the fastest armor skill out there, but that was quite efficient.
Yeah, that's going to be crystal number 3 for Farfaloo. Meanwhile, Maniacal on the way to crystal number 3 from Argus. So yeah, Pod and Eastern both ended up being completely barren. So, and Maniacal hasn't produced anything of note in Swamp either. So we might have to check out the fetch quests in the Powder and the
Also,
Mushroom.
the 3 pennant dungeons to consider. Because
Very
there's
true.
a non-zero chance of something being on pedestal. In fact, every time we come up empty on a check, just adds to it. Ooh, big key on Argus, and I do believe we've not found all the items in the swamp, so that's a dive back in, if I read it right.
I don't think we've seen the compass. Or I should say, I think we have seen the compass, rather. So if we have seen the compass, yeah, Maniacal's going in. And Farfaloo is going to go ahead and clear out Swamp real quick. Did pick up the flippers out of Waterway, so yeah, this is just as full clearable for him as it was for Maniacal. So yeah, again, we're going to be seeing them kind of go back and forth between each other for a little. We'll see what Maniacal decides to do after this, because Maniacal's got a bit more of a unique case here where he's not able to full clear Pod or Eastern, but can do the fetch quests. So we'll see if the fetch quests are next up on his list. I don't think Purple Chest has been checked yet either.
No, it hasn't. It's just a piece of heart in the big chest. Unfortunate for Maniacal, but as far as I'm concerned, it's better to not orphan checks, especially for Swamp, because the way Swamp Palace works is that if you leave the super tile that has Swamp Palace, you have to reflood the dam. And that's about a half a minute right there. And K45 just has ordnance.
Maniacal deciding not to grab the purple chest yet. Probably going to grab it now.
It would be easier to grab now just because of convenience reasons, and with the powder from Meridia, we'll be able to check magic back, so it routes itself nicely. And with the actual powder, no need to drain out magic to use fake powder. It is a thing that it can be done on some runs, and sometimes serves as a nice little sequence break. Oh, there's the various suit the powder had it all along!
Ooh, that'll complicate things for Farfaloo for sure. So now we are in Bombos Go mode. Which again, thankfully that leaves out 2 very bad dungeons, but everywhere else in between, still on the table.
I believe Farfaloo is trying the bomb setup for Diver Down. And got it that time.
Maniacal also bearing a little bit of fruit out of the purple chest, picking up Wave Beam, so now we've got Charge Ice Wave, better than nothing for sure.
Absolutely, and better news for Maniacal, if he opts to turn the Ice Beam off during a boss fight, we'll be able to use the X Factor strat, which is definitely one of the better beam combos out there.
Absolutely, because I believe every orb does the same damage as a super missile.
Yeah, each orb is 300, and if they all converge on a target at the same time, the damage stacks and goes up to 1200. In fact, there is a strat that utilizes X Factoring and Tune that exists. It's not easy to do, and I still don't know how I hit it first try when I first tried it, but there you go.
And Maniacal's going to take that Various suit and immediately go check Big Bird. Doesn't see the Bombos medallion in the room, just power bombs and missiles.
Yeah, the power bombs are unfortunately at Showcase Showdown, which is locked by space jump, so we're not able to get those. Now, Maniacal on the right for right now is set up perfectly to take Big Bird down, no problem.
Alright, Maniacal did burn quite a lot of supers here, so decided to just take a bit of time to farm up some extras. And we're going to see Lower Norfair now. Clears the pillars without difficulty.
And now for everyone's favorite, worst room in the game.
Yeah, the only can fly we really have is the IBJ, unfortunately, but Maniacal is still not having too much trouble getting up top.
Yeah, high jump makes it a heck of a lot easier. Passing in the power bombs, interesting.
I think at this point Maniacal's pretty cozy with the remainder of his equipment. Lack of supers still isn't brilliant, but he's now got both suits, charge beam, and plenty of health. So I doubt we're going to see Maniacal pass or pick up any additional convenience items at this point for Super Metroid.
Now, if Plasma Beam shows up, that's a much different story.
Of course. Alright, Farfaloo is going back into Swamp for the last item. And after this, Farfaloo is going to have to decide whether to start doing Meridia, which, from that neck of the woods, is not too far away, to be fair, or to follow Maniacal into Lower Norfair.
Now, Meridia, what was mentioned there by Meridia not being too far away is that there is a portal that leads to Meridia over on the Dark World side of where you get the Ice Rod in the vanilla game. That piece of heart actually completed a heart container for Farfaloo.
And I actually just thought about it for a second. Farfalu might actually decide to make a quick pit stop, and it looks like that is what he's going to do. Make a quick pit stop to Ice Palace. Get that out of the way. I'm not going to lie, I'm getting a bit concerned. Where is this Bombos medallion?
Now, we are getting a check I did not see Maniacal go for. If he did, I might have missed it. As Farfalu is going to see the hobo, as Maniacal is going into Ridley.
Yeah, I don't think we saw Maniacal check this.
Ace of heart. I see. So Maniacal strat here is to just pump Ridley full of missiles first. Not a bad idea.
Alright, not quite down yet on Maniacal's side.
Charge Wave, not a bad combination to have, but I think he'd be getting more damage out of X Factor here, but that's just me. And what's the fairy giving us for dropping the bottle? Green goo.
And it is always going to be green goo as of version 11 of the combo randomizer.
Yeah, if you're wanting differences, that's restricted to Link to the Past standalones, Rando. I think Maniacal's just about done here.
That should definitely be red enough for a Ridley KO here. I'm surprised he didn't just spring ball into Ridley's claws.
And Maniacal has taken Ridley down. In fact, that little grab, I actually remember finding that by accident. I was like, wait, what? As Farfalu now has Charge Beam, and Ridley was just guarding a pack of missiles, which Maniacal is going to pick up due to currently running low.
Fair enough. I was about to say, why pick up a missile tank but not a power bomb tank? But yeah, the missile count definitely desires a quick refill. Still a few items to check on the way out. We've got Mount Ridley, power bombs in jail, Hotarubi missiles. Hotarubi missiles, excuse me.
Farfalu's checking the Ice Beam area, went for the optimal strat, but bonked on the way through the door.
Yeah, it has more than enough energy tanks right now, so it doesn't have to worry too much about that. Does have to still... Farfalu is actually starting to really miss out on by not going to Meridia, because now missing out on the Cane and Powder. And that's leading to missing out on Variasuit, so that would be really nice for Farfalu at this point. So I would hope to see Farfalu switch divert course to Meridia sooner rather than later. There really is not much... There's not much else he can do, although he might be thinking Bubble Mountain.
Would be in hard logic, Bubble Mountain would be. And I believe this was a reserve tank. Yep, and Farfalu has no interest in that. Meanwhile, the E-tank on the escape route... That's Bombos, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, guys, gals, non-binary pals. We are officially in no mode.
Okay, so you really just had to get down to really grab the Bombos. Now, in Maniacal's case, Maniacal still has to go get Bo out of Rex ship, but once that's done, which he's got to go do anyways, he's pretty much in business.
And it's missiles that are in jail today. Looks to be a Meridia play from Farfalu.
Yeah, this is a good play. We know this does have to be done. We'll see what Maniacal decides to do next with this, because it is very possible Maniacal could end up diving Meyer and Turtle Rock looking for Bo. Because I was saying earlier how Bombos Go mode locks out a lot of spots, but Bow Go mode is a much different case.
It really is. We know where it is from the commentary side. Chat knows where it is from their side. However, the runners don't know where it is. And as a result, Farflu, you're
I
going to
think
need that.
I think he just wanted to check Crab Supers before heading back down.
We are getting our first look at the wave beam area. This is definitely looking for the bow. It's not here, but there could still be something of value here, like space jump or plasma.
Yeah, X-ray plasma
No
right now
dice.
for microwave would be really nice because in Michael's case, you can still microwave Fantoon. In Farfalu's case, microwave Dragon, but if X-ray and plasma are anywhere, they're not going to be anywhere near Dragon in Farfalu's case. But yeah, right now this is the place for Farfalu to be, as he will come across the mushroom, not the mushroom, the mushroom and the powder to go pick up that Varia suit. But we'll see what he decides to do after that. There's Grapple Beam in front
Wow,
of
there
Speed
is
Booster.
the grapple beam. En route to speed.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's
sure
not.
Monaco would have liked that earlier.
Yeah, I don't think Farfalu is going to get any advantage out of that either, because we now know Shack Tool is dead.
Yep, so for those of you who are looking forward to references to Buzzsaw Man Pants, not today.
Yeah, ultimately this seed was pretty gentle, I have to say.
Yeah, hard mode can get extremely nasty, but today was not the day. But, well, hey, maybe it's because I'm on commentary. Because it seems like when I'm on commentary for hard seeds, it's like seeds not bad or something. I don't know. I can't get this randomizer's logic sometimes.
I've just decided to not try and understand it either.
Yeah, sometimes it's best to just nod your head and go along with it.
Yeah, this Bubble Mountain Dive not going to produce anything for Maniacal in the meantime. But yeah, it's right now Maniacal's finishing time is entirely dependent on when he decides to go to wreck ship. In Farfalu's case, it's entirely dependent on when he decides to go turn in that powder.
Yep, because one will lead to the other, and that'll be that.
Because once Farfalu gets that Varia suit, that'll persuade him to go to Ridley and pick up Bamos on the way out. Unfortunately, I think Maniacal is going to get baited into going into Meyer and possibly TR.
So the bird gets killed before the medallion gets used, which in this case would have just been roast peasant.
Yeah, none of that bird toss stuff today.
Well, if we had to do that, we would have had to have fought Aga 1, so...
Yeah, there were a couple of beads of sweat moments coming down this seed, but all of them ended up getting avoided. Except powder was required, but that was not too hard to get considering ease of Speed Booster today. You did have to pretty much World Tour Super Metroid to get all the stuff you needed, all things considering. But even still, it's not that hard to do once Speed Booster comes into play.
Arfali wanted that mushroom. We could still see a Shack Tool here. So I think that's what Farfalu is going for. No, instead going to exit.
Yeah, ultimately,
Timing-wise, does not make sense.
true, but at the same time, we do know there can't really be anything of significant note back there. Alright, so it looks like Maniacal is done. Is done with Meridia, deciding to not go to Dragon yet.
No, this could be an alternate route to Dragon. Remember the portal.
Ah, yes. Let's see if he decides to make a pit stop for the fetch quests first. That is exactly what he's doing.
Also be a good spot to stock up on potions.
Yeah, we found it. Farflu in particular has found a significant number of bottles so far.
And the mushroom for a trash can. That trade makes a lot of sense.
No sign of that big key yet. Oh wait, no, Maniacal must have picked it up. It must have been a vanilla big key.
And I think the big key was fire locked, but not in the cutscene chest.
Okay.
This is an ice play for Farfalu, I believe.
Yeah, I think Farflu's just going to do another sweep of Link to the Past here, which is unfortunate that this it's going to keep him away from Various for just a bit longer.
Maniacal's almost at Vitreous, which with Butter Sword and how he's set up as well, not as scary a boss as lesser health and lesser offensive powers, but with Cape, no big deal.
He's got Cape, Butter Sword, like 3 dozen arrows. He's fine.
Now, if he had a bow, those arrows would actually mean something.
Right.
Direct ship, though.
Forgot he doesn't have bow yet. But yeah, Cape half magic just makes this fight a cakewalk.
And it was a map on the boss, but now Big Bomb is open.
Yeah, the nice thing about what we know is that the bow wasn't really locking any progression items besides crystals, so basically any place we can think of, bow could be. And that's probably what's going through Maniacal's mind as well.
Well, I do believe we are going to see all of Not Hera, I meant Turtle Rock. 2 dungeons on the same mountain, you're bound to get them crossed up at some point.
Well, we might still see Hera either way, because there are 2 items in there, and Maniacal could still need, in Maniacal's mind, one of them could still be bow. Farfelu deciding to conserve magic with sword beams. Not a bad play.
Didn't realize that was a thing. I'm gonna have to remember that for myself.
Yeah, having only a one medallion seed, a one medallion 2 dungeon seed is both a blessing and a curse, depending on whether or not it's your last item. In this case, it's Maniacal's curse, and it's going to be Farfelu's blessing.
Yeah, definitely.
And especially in Maniacal's case, Rex Ship is such a tough play to make because Rex Ship does take a while to go through, even with decent equipment. So I can and more times than not, I've seen Rex Ship be, well, it's more like 50-50, but it seems somewhat uncommon, at least, that Rex Ship ends up being a get Rex Ship. Not the case today.
Farfelu with a gate glitch. This is probably a play to Crocomire, if I had to guess.
I'm surprised he's decided to check this and not check the powder. Because we did see the powder in his inventory when he menued over to Mushroom. Come to think of it, I don't think the pendant dungeons were even required today.
Nah, they definitely were not. They were an afterthought, which is what you want to see. But with how many seats require you to go into pendant dungeons, the bait was definitely there to be drawn into them.
Yeah, the bait was there, because Pedestal became in logic as soon as we found Mirror. Now, I think the one thing Maniacal does not want to see right now is the book, because that's just going to bait him towards the tablets. And just delay the inevitable, I guess, as the saying goes. Oh, Maniacal did not move the block. Unfortunately,
he got bopped by the chain chomp. The dog was being rude.
Yeah, and those, they deal 8 hearts on green mail, so watch out.
Yeah, I think at this point, it would be, yeah, pull out the blue cane, because honestly, I got 2 words for these chain chomps. Bad doggy.
Very nice.
About the only way I'm gonna get a Luigi's Mansion reference in.
Farfelu is, shall we say, cutting it close a little bit here.
Definitely a time to farm.
Is getting some pretty good missile drops, so eventually that will change to health.
Well, that's power bombs off the table, so that'll increase the likelihood of getting health.
Yeah, although I don't think those enemies in particular are very likely to drop power bombs. I think it's possible, but it's very low.
Maniacal is catching fairies, which is a very sound strategy.
I actually don't remember where the bug net even was, unless he just picked it up in the vanilla Big Key chest.
Yeah, it just popped up in Turtle Rock.
Okay.
And Farfelu wanted that. It's supers. Not a bad call.
Yeah, at this point, Farfelu without Charge Beam could finish the game, but it does have Charge Beam, so that's still a good backup.
Well, you wanted a shovel, you wanted a fetch quest, there you go.
Yeah, at this point, that actually might be another sort of warning sign for Farflu to maybe head back to A Link to the Past, check both remaining fetch quest items.
You could say Crocomire had that shovel buried.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I just realized what you said.
And the big chest of Turtle Rock and E-Tank. At this point, energy tanks are just good for down the stretch health, and that's it.
Yeah, at this point right now, it's really hard to say who is in the lead right now. Although Maniacal's not going to have much left to do after Turtle Rock. He's going to have to he's either going to dip Pod and Eastern without the bow, or he's going to do Wreck Ship, or check the other pendant dungeons. The options are certainly on the table, but it seems like Farfalu, depending on what he does after this, might still be a while to get to Various Suit and Bamos.
Trying to think, how many reserve tanks has Farfalu picked up?
I want to say probably 2, because I think he went for the... Did he go for the one in Crumble Tower? I want to say... I don't think so, yeah. He might only just have the one.
I hear a tracker says that he believes that there are 2 reserves. And not the one in Crumble Tower, as that is errors in our last chest on the laser bridge. It's just missiles.
Yeah, so as we've already established a while back, yeah, this TR dive is not going to do any good for Maniacal. He's got to know by now something's wrong. This might push him to Wreck Ship. Because, yeah, Wreck Ship's been full clearable ever since Speed Booster.
And that is a 1 cycle phase 1 for Trinex, now for phase 2, which don't blink or else you're gonna miss it. And Farfalu says no to the grapple beam.
Unless, for some reason, wants to get on the way out. There we go.
And there's the book, so we could have a push to tablets and or pedestal now on Maniacal's side. Trinex had it.
Ooh, yeah.
Trinex wanted literacy.
Yeah, again, that's the thing Maniacal does not want to see right now, because that's just going to keep pushing him away from Wreck Ship more and more. Unless, of course, he just decides to ignore it, but yeah, he's making a beeline for Ether Tablet at the moment.
And that first one was just couch cash. Move right along.
Farfalu getting a nice energy refill on the way to Wave Beam. Maniacal's going to be picking up that reserve tank off the mushroom. That's the second tank Farfalu has. How Maniacal's just passing it right up.
Yep, no interest in the trash can. Farfalu is going to get to the cathedral item, and it is a power bomb pack.
That's basically a second crystal flash. Yeah, Farflu's gonna pick that up. Alright, so Maniacal is making a quick pit stop to check pedestal, but we do know that can't really be anything important at this point.
Yeah, we have all the swords. The only real good thing it would be space jump or plasma beam.
And you say that.
Well, pedestal wasn't necessarily required, but I do believe that would have been helpful.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate spot to put space jump, but yeah, thankfully this is not an all dungeon seed. Alright, Farfalu is back in A Link to the Past and is pulling out the flute, and is heading back to Kakariko, so this should be the right direction. I might be starting to think about Purple Chest, but is certainly going to route in Magic Bat with this, which will net him his various suit. But Farfalu is probably going to do the full remainder of this Purple Chest and before doing... Oh, never mind. I don't think Farfalu saw a bumper ledge yet.
Nope. And we have not seen Graveyard Ledge either. Well, there's the X-ray scope at Bombo's tablet.
Yeah, if Maniacal does happen to have Plasma Beam fall on his lap before Fantoon, that would be still a nice plus, because that's one quick kill on a boss, which you always love to see in Super Metroid. I imagine the SM community is going to flip out once we find a Ridley quick kill.
If that day ever comes, and I say that as a very big if, the internet's going to be broke.
At least this section of the internet.
There's the Spacer Beam. I mean, it's not the beam we're really looking for, but when you have Charge, Ice, Wave, and Spacer, that's a pretty good combination.
I think altogether those do 450.
Second only to Plasma version.
Yeah, I think
the
that
only
does...
thing stronger is the Plasma Beam.
Alright, Michael going to show us what Pyramid Fairy has. Could be Plasma Beam. Which, if it is Plasma Beam, that also may push him to Wreck Ship. Nope, it's a wavy coin.
Medallion, however, which, for this seed, all intents and purposes, doesn't do anything.
And unfortunately, because Maniacal skipped down on this earlier, he's going to burn some time here doing the whole of Hyrule Castle. Farfalu, though, is on the right place to pick up Various Suit. What's also really interesting here is, say both of our runners enter Go Mode at the same time, the only difference between the two of them in terms of Crystal Dungeons is Maniacal's Crystal Dungeons are going to be a little faster, but Farfalu can Go Mode them, but at the same time, Farfalu also has to still take out 2 Super Metroid bosses. One of which will be on his way to Go Mode.
And the other one made easier with the Grapple Beam. There's Various Suit for Farfalu.
And yeah, Farfalu is going to wrap up the purple chest checks and stuff, but after that is going to be the next big question. Is he going to flute to Meyer and go to Lower Norfair, or is he going to do something else?
Lower Norfair would put him in go mode, while going through to Meridia, well, the only thing that would be faster, like I said, compared to Maniacal, would be dealing with Dragon, courtesy of using the grapple beam.
Oh, Farfalu's also going to turn that shovel, too, while he's at it. Would have laughed if that was Plasma.
Oh my goodness, that would have been funny.
Alright, Maniacal is warping to start here, so this could be the play to wreck ship. Certainly the right direction.
Yep, will he stay in the right direction, though?
Yeah, that is actually a good point. He has to make sure he doesn't bail out after Fantoon, otherwise that's going to be a big miss.
Yep. Farfalu definitely on the right track for this.
They might actually hit go mode, I wouldn't say at the exact same time, but they're going to hit it fairly close to each other.
Good thing that energy recharge was added in recently, because low energy for lower Norfair is a bad proposition.
To say the least.
Now, the thing with Farfalu finding Spazer is that it doesn't turn on automatically. He's going to have to go into the menu to turn it on.
Wow, Farfalu just electing to eyeball it and just bulldoze Big Bird. Gets it done relatively quickly.
Just bulldoze Big Bird, ran a freight train through it. And we also bring in a new audience. Welcome, Speed Gaming 2. We have the Super Metroid Link to the Past Randomizer Weekly for you, with Farfalu and Maniacal on Restream. We are currently in no mode. The question is, will Maniacal get the bow first, or will Farfalu come up with Bombos first? We know where both are. It's just a question of who gets to what.
And they are both well on their way to getting the items. They are in the right neighborhoods. They just have to follow through and see it to the end. Oh,
Maniacal's going for X Factor, and he hit that perfectly. Holy smokes.
Very well done. That's going to save a cycle on Fantoon for sure.
That was a brilliant Fantoon fight by Maniacal.
Yeah, folks, definitely stay glued to your screens here, because we may be looking at a proper race for the finish line here on the restream. I think at this point Maniacal's probably going to hit go mode first, but Farfalu's going to hit it right behind him. The other thing that Farfalu has as a bit of an advantage is that Farfalu can combo TR into GT. So that's going to definitely save him a minute or two on the last mountain climb. All right. Power Bombs of Shame, just some extra 20. Oh, wait, we already know that's 20 bucks. Farfalu's ammo count looking pretty good for this Ridley fight. Does still have to get past the gold pirates first, though. Just barely manages to get the third super in on time. And Farfalu is electing not to farm and go straight to Ridley. Alright, here we go, folks. Has just enough supers. Charge Ice Wave Spazer just in case. Although I don't think he turned on a Spazer Beam yet. Oh, Farfalu got snagged just a little too early there, but did eventually get the final snag. Maniacal's going to go ahead and check the wreck ship attic before getting Bo in the sky. And folks, yeah, we're going to have a tight race here, so hold on to your seats. This is where the fun begins.
I'd ask how long before you can make the jump to light speed, but this isn't the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I would say at the rate we're looking, we're probably going to get go mode within roughly a minute of each other. Maybe even less.
Maniacal's seen it. He knows what he's got to do now.
To answer a question, Chad, I don't think Farfalu killed Dragon yet. We think he noped out right after picking up Kane and checking Mama Turtle and the sand pits.
Maniacal's hit go. He just grabbed the bow and is immediately turned around. No bowling, no nothing.
Yeah, and there really is nothing else Maniacal needs to do, so it is time to just finish up. But let's see if he decides to go kill Mother Brain first. He might just do that, given that he's already near the ship, and I think that's exactly what he's doing. But less than a minute later, and Farfalu will be picking up Bombo's medallion and entering go mode. So yeah, Farfalu does have... Farfalu is down one Super Metroid boss, though, in the meantime, so is going to have to try and route that in. Probably will do so after Misery Mire, or right after... or GT. Plenty of options on the table for Farfalu, but yeah, here we go, folks.
We got ourselves a race to the finish, folks. Maniacal's first stop's going to be Pod, and for him, that's going to be a blessing because it's going to be a God Pod.
Pretty much, yeah. Early big key. Yeah, that early big key is definitely going to play into Maniacal's favor here. Farfalu is going to have the luxury of being able to combo TR with GT, but that's about it at this point. Well, I had thought Maniacal was going to go and continue to mow the brain, but I guess not.
Yeah, I'm also surprised Maniacal didn't go right for Mother Brain, but maybe there was a reason for it. Perhaps the lack of a beam that adds power, be it Spazer, which we know where it is, and he's not going to pick it up because it's on Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah,
or
no,
he's
not
holding
gonna
out
pick it up.
hope for Plasma Beam in GT, which is possible at this juncture.
That's very true. Plasma and GT is actually quite likely given the circumstances, because we have pretty much full cleared the rest of the game given that we've seen Meyer and TR from him. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. We haven't seen the 2 items in Hera or the 2 items in Skull Woods, or the Green Pendant. But even still, the density is in GT for Plasma to be there.
So the big key in Meyer was the first Firelock chest, if memory serves.
It was, yes. Another thing that, while not particularly critical, would be nice, no sign of silver arrows. Maniacal also is still running on green mail.
So yeah, green mail is where this gets a little dicey, as it definitely becomes a glass cannon situation, because enemies in the end game hit like a truck, especially on green mail. Example, those Wizro beams that are in Meyer on Farfalu's side do 4 hearts of damage on green mail, which is exactly what they do in Zelda 1 for the red Wizros.
Oh dear.
Yeah, which is why we don't like Wizro dungeons early in the rando.
Yeah, I don't quite recall TR's key layout, but I don't. There wasn't anything in the vanilla big key chest, so that could be skipped if Farfalu wants to save a minute there.
Yeah, it was a small key, so a minute can definitely be saved there. Farfalu, though, in a bit of a dicey situation health-wise. Down to 3 hearts, but with powder, we'll be able to recover that at the nearest anti-fairy.
Which, there is one coming up, I think, in this next room. It looks to not get it.
Might be waiting for the room before heading on the road to the boss, which is another likely one. And instead of going back, opts to go forward. I like that decision there.
And yeah, there's the anti-fairy. He's gonna... Oh, I guess not.
Yeah, that one gave him the slip. But there's a bunny beam that can also be powdered in this room, as well as an anti-fairy, so options.
Somehow that still damaged him.
Yeah, that's what happens when attacks hit simultaneously in these older games. You both take damage.
Almost got shelled by fireballs there.
Yeah, those shooters are relentless, as now Maniacal's final pendant dungeon, which is Eastern. And Eastern's just grab the big key and go. It's been so long, I don't remember where it is.
Yeah, I don't remember where the big key was either, but either way, Maniacal is going to be done with all 7 crystals long before Farfalu at this rate, just because Pot and Eastern are much quicker dungeons. So yeah, at this point, I would say, given Maniacal's remaining to-do list, it is Maniacal's race to lose at this point, because Maniacal definitely has a movement and skill advantage, I would say, historically. So I would say, yeah, Maniacal's probably got the restream in the bag, barring a green mail low heart disaster on Ganon. Ooh, Farfalu being a little thoughtful here with the Butter Sword, deciding to try and get chip shots in on Vitreous before taking out the last eye, having to deal with less bounces. Very clever. Alright, Farfalu on the way to TR now. And I think the big key was vanilla, so Maniacal is unfortunately going to have to keep walking a little. Yep, there's that vanilla big key. And yeah, this is after Maniacal also full cleared Meyer and Total Rock looking for Bo, so this is a very nice recovery for Maniacal here, all things considering.
Definitely is.
I think what ultimately led to Farfalu's downfall, not really downfall per se, but Farfalu's delay here was not getting powder. Actually, no, Farfalu got powder at Aqueduct first try around, but just didn't turn it in right away. So as a result, he was late to Various Suit, late to Bombos, and just a tad gonna end up being not particularly long behind Maniacal, but definitely not looking likely to take this race tonight. Still a very respectable performance, especially given that this was not really that bad of a C. This is probably going to be a sub 3. Definitely going to be a sub 3.
Unfortunately, the Igor shot its eye a bit too early for Maniacal to take out there, so minor stuff like that, we could still have quite the finish in our hands, folks. And speaking of minor stuff, the quick kill seems to have hit a bit of a snare. So off to a nice backup strat there, extra missiles. And I do have a question for chat. Where do you think the big key's gonna be? 1 through 22?
Yes, there are 22 locations in the basement of Ganon's Tower, 21 chests, and 1 torch.
And they're all in play.
Oh, there's the bug net. It was on right side TR. Maniacal's unfortunately got to walk the long way around to get there.
I don't think we use the bot for weeklies.
We do not use the bot for weeklies, only in tournaments.
And with 2021 coming up, you best believe that tournaments will be coming at us very soon. Oh, that was a shocking mistake for Farfalu. Due to that, electrification takes a fall off the platform. You hate to see it, and you hate to be the one to feel it, too. There's the big key for Turtle Rock.
All right, Maniacal is entering GT. Here we go.
Going for the holograms first.
We'll cut off the guessing game here.
Big 20 to start. And no small key here, so unless we want to gamble tile room, we're off to the left. That's supers on the torch, so that's 3. Maniacal's gonna take those, because you can never have enough supers, let's be honest.
Yeah, and without Charge Wave Plasma, Supers, Charge Wave Ice Plasma, Supers are the most effective form of DPS on Mother Brain by comparison to their current equipment. Alright, 4 extra arrows, 5 super missiles, 6 small keys, 7 red rupee.
No 8 today, as that's 10 arrows.
Very nice use of the boomerang there for Maniacal to clear the room. Alright, we're coming up on number 9.
Small key. So now we come up to a room that is named Rando Room because we only typically see it in Randomizer.
Farfalu, you might want to have considered powdering that fairy. Oh well. Yeah, Farfalu's going to be going into this Trinex fight with only 3.5 hearts. There are silvers. Lucky
Still
break for
haven't found it
Maniacal.
yet, but silver arrows have been accounted for. Ganon is going to be screaming about his one true weakness.
And then not in the combo randomizer. That's unfortunately only a thing in standalone.
Well, he's screaming about it in his head.
Maniacal was trying to get around the teleporter, but ended up getting a damage boost instead. Lucky break for him there. This GT has been all about lucky breaks for Maniacal. Alright, 14. We're going to take a look at Bob's chest.
There's
For plasma.
Well, I guess the decision to hold off on Mother Brain was a good one for Maniacal.
Indeed. Farfalu, meanwhile, has finished up Turtle Rock and is on the way to GT. Let's see what route he chooses here. Once this Ice Armos Knight is down and is done absolutely bullying Maniacal. Alright, these three are...
The big key is on the right side, so if it's in Tile Room and Farfalu goes for it, then that could be a huge time gain back in the short term. However, with what Maniacal has found, it would come out in the wash long term.
Yeah, because no silvers would make the Ganon fight take considerably longer, number one. Number two, Farfalu still has to kill Dragon. So, one way or another, Farfalu does still have a considerable amount of extra to do compared to Maniacal.
And is going to play the same route.
We'll see if he decides to turn around and do Dark Magician strats after picking up the keys in Stalfos' room.
No, 20. A big 20 for the big key.
Which means our winner of the guessing game today will be... Seriously? Nobody guessed 20? I see a couple 21.
21.
Yeah, I guess the closest we've got here is I think we have two 21s, actually. Do we have two? No, I think we actually have just the one. And that would be Sykes 83. Alright, yeah, it looks like Farfalu is going to take the same route as Maniacal, so it's not going to save any time here. Farfalu gonna pick up those silvers.
Of course, hard mode would put both silvers and plasma beam in GT because the game knows.
Yeah, actually, Farfalu getting plasma is going to be a nice lucky break, as it does help for Dragon. I can't remember, was it, who picked up X-Ray?
That was maniacal at the Bombos tablet.
That's right. So yeah, Farfalu's not going to be able to microwave Dragon, unfortunately.
But plasma's still going to do a considerable chunk of damage.
Very true. Yeah, hopefully the last Armos Knight won't give Farfalu, no, not nearly as much trouble from Farfalu on the Armos Knights.
Yeah, the last Armos Knight basically gave Maniacal the business. Maniacal's just charging up those stairs.
You're not wasting any time. It certainly looks good on armaments, although health could do with a little bit of a boost before this final, for these final encounters. But is going to just elect to powder the fairies here.
Probably checking for a little bit more health, got supers instead. Which, up to before we got to Bob's chest, were looking pretty good. And one last pack of power bombs for the road, because why not?
Doesn't hurt.
Now the question is, how's Maniacal looking on agonometry?
Well, with a full health refill, I don't think there's going to be too much difficulty, although not the most favorable starting pattern here.
Yeah, only able to get a double off that pattern, which, with that pattern, I think is honestly the best you can do, and another double, so up to 2 and 2. That would have been nice for a triple, but only needed the double, so it's a triple double for Maniacal to finish off Aghanim nicely.
Indeed, now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to face the big pig. And the big pig spouting some Zelda 2 nonsense. I can't wait for one of his lines to be the Triforce parts are resonating.
Is that line even a thing? Because I want to say it is, but I haven't seen it yet.
It's in Ocarina of Time. That's where the line originates.
That's a reference that needs to happen.
Ganon asks if we found the arrows in his tower, and yes, we did. Ooh, this looks like a good setup for a triple, but the third arrow came out a little late.
Yeah, he missed it by a pixel, but we got bacon. That's the first G, and Maniacal's gonna be on his way to the second one shortly. Maniacal's gone ahead, turn on both the ice and the plasma beam, so the full power of the beam can now be implemented. And here we go into Turian. At this point, it's another execution gauntlet. And now I'm looking at Maniacal's Super Metroid loadout. He found all the E-tanks. Can't say you see that every day in a randomizer, be it standalone SM or compromiser, as is the case. And now, how's agonometry for? I do declare the RNG rolled one worse for Farfaloo, as that is a gross setup. Got a nice double there. Maniacal's through the Metroids while Farfaloo is working on Aga 2. Absolutely terrible patterns. Gets through it nicely, though.
All right, we got a Quispy Beam, we got a potential Baby Skip. Let's see how we get. I thought for sure he was going to get grabbed for a split second there.
Yeah, you jinxed it as he got grabbed.
Yeah, right at the end.
Various suit is off, and Maniacal could proceed through the door, but if he were to do so, he would be on the speed of getting hugged by the baby Metroids, so that is ill-advised.
Ah, I was always wondering why that runners never went through the door despite having the potential to do so.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing it happen once. When was it? Either way, Maniacal is set up to just get it all back via Crystal Flash, which is a valid strat in this situation.
Indeed, Farfaloo in the middle of the Ganon fight, Phase 3, now done, going into Phase 4.
Our runners don't have to worry about getting the torch glitch here. While it would be helpful, yes, it's not necessary when you have the silvers.
And with a full Quispy Beam on hand, Maniacal doesn't need to worry about conserving super missiles anymore, but does get a half-through Zebetite skip.
Yep, went for the spring ball variation. Now that's getting up close and personal with Mother Brain, who probably would have preferred social distancing guidelines getting enforced there.
Me too. Yeah, but now we're gonna have a little bit of quick Mother Brain Phase 1 here. Charge Ice Wave Plasma makes short work of this, 900 damage per shot.
Where is Farfaloo? Wait a minute, I think I know where Farfaloo's going.
Farfaloo needs to...
Oh yeah, for Dragon, so this portal here is the quickest way to get over to that teleporter, as Maniacal is setting up for a stand-up glitch, I believe.
Definitely setting up. He's even going to have leftover missiles, but I don't think those are going to help here.
Nah. Wow, I went through there so fast, I even saw the binary code that's outside the room.
Yeah, I just noticed that too. I was like, is that part of the texture, or did I just witness a glitch? If you're wondering why...
I'm not sure on that, Professor. It would be worth asking about that post game in terms of routing. Although it did work out for a go mode Dragon, it's still going to be considerably behind Maniacal because Maniacal's got this. Well, I mean, there's only one thing that could happen, and that would be a soft lock, but we don't foresee that.
Yeah, Mother Brain's already glowing pretty red as is, so it's not going to take much after this to finish her off. Let's see.
One shot and done. Well,
Very well done.
Yeah, that was brilliant. So now it's just time to escape.
Dragon's actually being really argumentative with Farfaloo, not electing to grab, to perform the grab move. Ended up having to use all charged plasma to take him out.
So Dragon is done, and Farfaloo's not even going to bother with the pickup switch in this situation. Makes sense, and we got a blue bomber!
Nicely done.
Now, Maniacal did miss the moonfall there, but that's just really minor in the grand scheme of things, as now is entering criteria. And for those familiar with what the Super Metroid Rando does for saving the animals, well, that isn't a thing in Randomizer, but I don't think Maniacal's going to be saving the critters, because this is all discretionary.
So you're going to have to enlighten me on this one. What does the Super Metroid Rando community do differently?
They gotta think all the surprise, which could cause you to do a double escape. It could put you in Phantom's boss room, get your GGs in chat for Maniacal, who's won on Restream.
And you're not going to believe this. He's taken first overall with an official race time GG time of 2:44.51.
Nicely done overall.
Very well played by Maniacal, despite, and this is after full clearing Meyer and TR looking for Bo, so again, very well done by Maniacal.
Indeed. Now, amongst the surprises, like I said, you could get a vanilla room, but your timer goes down to 20 seconds. I got that once and was said by reaction I cannot repeat here.
Oh my.
But you could also have a locked door, or it could have you go right to the end. It's a crazy setup.
But yeah, Farfaloo's not going to be too far behind Maniacal finishing up here, so they're both going to sub 3.
Oh, and I noticed that Maniacal finished with exactly 42 missiles. I see what you did there.
Ah, yes, I just got the joke. I do love Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Hopefully Maniacal will join us for an interview, because we have quite a lot to ask him about that this seed today.
Farfaloo is taking quite the beating from the blue side hopper, racking up a lot more damage faster.
Yeah, not a bad alternative strategy to dealing with not baby skipping. Unfortunately, forgot to face right.
Yep, just a bit slower. This will be.
Only a couple of frames, though.
Still, we talk about saving the frames all the time in Super Metroid, so that would count towards losing quite a bit.
And yeah, with actually a bit of a super missile shortage, Farfaloo is going to have to take the energy refill from the terminal. Does not fill super missiles for this.
Yeah, that missile reload only refills standard missiles. It does not reload super. Only the ship does that.
Okay. Even still, if he can get a Zebetite skip, hopefully he doesn't have to worry too much about supers.
Even so, Farfaloo's got plenty of missiles to pull this off. Even if the even if something like that happens where the Zeb skip says, nope.
And someone in chat made a good point. All of the Zelda 3 bosses were killed by Buttersword.
And the Zeb skip is saying no to Farfaloo as we are now joined by Maniacal in the commentary booth. GG, well played on the seed overall.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, I was overall pretty happy with it. Pretty late to the bow.
Yeah, that was one thing we noticed is that you could have had the bow quite faster as Farfaloo got there much quicker, but you were quicker to getting to go mode overall because Farfaloo still needed Bombos and still had to kill Dragon.
Oh gosh, so Bombos. Okay.
Yeah, Bombos was Farfaloo's go mode.
That's interesting. I was kind of expecting people to get caught up by flippers just given where they were.
Actually, neither of you were held up by flippers up until actually your, I would say, second Dark World dive especially, that's when you really started splitting. Up until that point, you were kind of just playing follow me.
Sure, I mean, that's sort of the early game of this, is you really do clear a lot of stuff overlapping. Just the nature of most SMZ3 seeds, they tend to not open up fast enough that you can get huge divergence early.
Yeah, it was really, one of the things that really slowed Farfaloo down was actually, he ended up picking up Powder, checking up the sand pits, but not checking Magic Bat as early as he could have, and that's what delayed his Varia suit, and by extension his Bombos Medallion. And for whatever reason decided not to kill Dragon despite being in the neighborhood.
Okay, yeah, I put the Powder check off pretty far because there were other good things going on, right? There are other things to do, just in terms of like speed booster to flippers, I think at that point I had Ice Palace and Swamp available, if I'm remembering right, because Powder was Meridia, and then flips behind Speed. Where was Speed?
Speed was in Meyer Shed.
Meyer Shed, okay.
And Mirror was someplace relatively nice. That's the one.
Yeah, Mirror was in a bad spot. That was not a great Mirror spot. I was glad to get something there, but it was pretty funny getting that there, and then like being able to use that to route Spike Cave, finding gravity in Spec Rock, and then also the stupid book on Trinex.
Yeah, you were
Definitely led you on a bit of a wild goose chase, but it did do one thing. It revealed my suspicions about Pedestal being a thing, because Pedestal was in play as soon as Mirror was found.
Yeah.
It seemed like a seed where Pedestal would have something, and it did. It had Space Jump.
Yeah, which wasn't relevant at all for the logic because of where bombs were, but it's still kind of interesting that Space Jump was there. But yeah, I was pretty aggressive about the pedestal check just because of how the pendants had opened. it was definitely worth looking into before I dived into any of them. I actually ended up with kind of the somewhat rare situation of having 4 dungeons out of which I got 0 items.
Yeah, the dungeons were pretty barren today.
Well, no, I mean just out of which I collected 0, even of the garbage items. I just didn't get any non-dungeon items, so all the pendants plus didn't find anything in pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had the situation of being able to take advantage of the god pod. Harpalu dug it out.
Yeah, and I was worried that like that or Sash or something, or Hobo or Ice Rod Cave, like a bunch of weird checks that I kind of isolated, were going to end up being something like my Silvers or my Plasma Beam, and then they both showed up in Ganon's Tower, so that was really fortunate.
That actually pretty much describes your GT in general. It's just lucky break after lucky break for convenience items.
Yeah, I mean, the key layout was weird. Thankfully, it told you that Tile Room had to be a small key, so you didn't have to entertain doing it.
Okay.
And were able to guarantee the big key was in the back of right side, so that was nice. So it was basically a virtual 22 in that regard, because the left side was so barren for keys. It was pretty funny.
It was, but ladies and gentlemen, Farfalu has just finished second on the restream, and that'll be 3rd place overall with an official race time GG time of 2:53.35, finishing just 83 seconds behind Aussie 101, who takes 2nd with 2:52.12.
GG's all around.
Yeah, GG's.
Yeah, you and Farfalu put on quite a good performance in terms of execution, although Farfalu had a minor hiccup, discovered Moon Pearl first, but did take a KO in front of Gauntlet trying to get to the back.
Ooh.
Not a costly KO, it was only like a minute, but it ultimately gave him the decision to come back for Moon Pearl later, because at that point, he still had the entirety of Brinstar to clear.
Yeah, and it was reasonable with like Moon Pearl and Hammer there to just leave Brinstar and say, okay, I'm going to come back later, especially with the 5 power bomb situation. But having gotten bombs and like bomb jumped up Red Tower, gotten screw attack, there was a lot of things going for me being able to complete. And then I got 2 really rare power bomb drops, like 2 or 4 percenters in a really opportune place that kind of bailed me out on the power bomb management. And then immediately got a 2nd power bomb back. I was laughing pretty hard at the vanilla power bomb pack in Retro Brinstar for that.
Yeah, power bombs were a little slow at the start, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But finding regular bombs later, thankfully, made it a little more mitigatable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, having screw attack and regular bombs really helped with the power bomb management being kind of bad early.
And we are now joined in the booth by Farfalu. Farfalu, GG to you. Congratulations on a podium finish.
I do believe they're muted at the moment.
GG.
So, GG's. Whenever you're ready, take your time.
But yeah, I guess there was a lot of stuff that was really tempting in this one. I'm kind of curious what everyone else dug out and what they didn't, and I'll be interested to kind of watch it back and see what happened when the routes diverged. I think it'll be interesting because there's a lot of like weird little quick things that I didn't get to, and then also managed to dodge most of Upper Norfair. Like Croc was really suspicious for Bow for a while, but managed to stay away from it. Managed to like dodge Cathedral, things like that.
The only thing worth noting at Croc was the shovel at Apple Beam spot, which was certainly an interesting thing to see. Because, I mean, let's just say Croc really buried that back there.
Yeah. And unfortunately, behind that was just a big 20, so nothing special going on from there.
Yeah, so that's a pretty big time waste that I was able to get a little lucky and avoid. Same with like Pendant Desert, Pendant Hera, Pendant Skull.
Yeah, the pendant dungeons were not required today.
They
Not even a dip.
they had to be just complete trash.
Oh yeah, that little jingle you just heard in the background there. If you leave your game open window long enough afterwards, you do hear that. So that is a vanilla game thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, sorry.
I accident recently. No worries there.
My CRT is still on beside me, and so it's playing some Star Fox tunes right now.
But yeah, overall, this seed, there could have been a lot. It could have been a lot worse, all things considered. Like, there could have been something in Showcase Showdown. That ether on Lumberjack Ledge could have been required.
Yeah, that was one of those ones that I felt good about being able to. So it was really nice that Meyer and Turtle Rock both opened with mitts, basically at the same time, and so you're able to go and check pretty aggressively, or at least I did. Which medallions you'd need, and then having it be double bombos it really did simplify things.
Yeah, it was. Bombos was both a blessing for Farflu and a curse for you, because you ended up checking both Meyer and Turtle Rock, but in Farflu's case, just being late to that Bombos just led to the delay in finish.
Yeah, Meyer, it maybe cost me an extra 35 seconds just because the items weren't in bad spots. And then Turtle Rock, I mean, it did cost me probably about 2 minutes. And then plus the book stuff that probably was like another 2. And then the Pyramid Fair was like 1. But being able to dodge the pendants and Upper Norfair and Croc and stuff, that, it all kind of falls out in the wash. I was kind of suspicious with it being early boots, Fire Rod, Master Sword, like everything looking pretty good. When I found the Moon Pearl with 1 glove and a hook shot, I started to get pretty suspicious that the seed was going to route me through Aghanim, and I was worried that Bryn Loop was going to have exactly Lamp in it, and then the hammer popped up kind of right away. So that was actually really lucky.
It was, and here's the funny thing. Your first trip up Death Mountain, you didn't look at Spectacle Rock at all. Lamp was on top.
Yeah, I just mirrored into it.
Yeah, you got it was a bit of a fortunate break there. It's kind of calculated. As the race hits the 3-hour mark, we can now officially say that there were only 3 sub-3s, and only one of them was off restream. That was Aussie 101.
Yeah, you both ended up sharing the podium with Aussie. How does that feel?
I mean, Aussie's a good racer. I like getting to race Aussie. I mean, I like getting to do these weeklies, especially when a good field turns out. I mean, there's a lot of good players still going too, so these are a lot of fun.
Absolutely. These are fun to partake in, but Hard I am not quite ready for yet in case Hard does anything nasty, but this seed was really Hard logic in name only. Strangely enough, it's like whenever I'm on commentary, that's been the case, because I've commentated 2 of these that are Hard. Both of them wound up being Hard in name only.
Yeah, and that's probably about 60 to 80% of them just kind of are Hard logic. You have the option to do things. And then, maybe 20% require like a mock ball or something like to break speed booster or something silly that, most players will do anyway. And then there's like 20% that require you to do like a Hell Run or some Suitless Meridia, and maybe 3 to 5% that require you to like really get in the weeds and do some of the nastier stuff.
Like a spring ball jump or something crazy like that. I heard of one such weekly seed where that was a thing, where like only 5 people finished and everybody else was like, nope.
Oh, there was, the weekly on Monday was pretty cool. I think it required spring ball jump worst room in the game, and then like some amount of suitless Meridia to get to a watering hole for gravity, and like it was a much more interesting seed from in terms of Super Metroid side execution than this one was.
I want to give Farfalu a second to join in, because I guess he might be just having some audio issues.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
There you are.
Welcome. GG's.
GG's.
Thank you.
So, your thoughts on that seed?
Yeah, but it was a little weird at the beginning. I did not know what to do in Super Metroid. It was really bugging me to have only 5 power bombs, so I did as much as possible in the Link to the Past to get back there. I don't know, maybe you find some check I did were really strange at the beginning, but that's the only reason at least I found the small bombs early, so I could not get soft lock, but it was very bugging me. And like when I die in the gauntlet, with I think I had 1 E-tank and 5 power bombs, that sorry, that kind of thing made me do Super Metroid at the very last when I could, and I think that went well. I could found I found some things in Zelda and had my way.
Yeah, but one thing we want to ask you about, there's 2 things we actually want to ask you about, is the main one is being, while you were in Meridia, you elected to check Aqueduct in the sand pits and get powder, and then come back for Dragon later. So take us through what your mind said for that point.
Yeah, the idea was not to check the plasma beam, so I found the mushroom in the sand pit. So I knew maybe I had to take it. So I just leave the area, do some things. I found the Somaria cane also. So it opened new things. That's why I left, and I said to myself, at least I can come back by the other way, the exit. So I just let it there until the very last.
Yeah, and the other is you had the ability to check Magic Bat right after Meridia, so and that would have led to your Variosuit. So what was convincing you to stay away from Magic Bat for so long?
I guess it's just the number of checks. I could have done the pegs, Magic Bat, and Purple Chest. So I knew there were 3 things in that area, but I just wanted to do Norfair before, because there's Croc with maybe 5 checks, and all the upper Norfair section, which is about 9 or 10 checks, I don't remember. It just I wanted to go to the mass, the big quantity, to see what I can get, and well, it was not very useful, so I came back to Magic Bat.
Yeah, there was a lot open at the same time as Bat. I put it off for a little while as well. It sounds like maybe I got there just a little earlier though. I didn't end up going to Croc, just because Croc opened behind Speed Booster or High Jump, if I'm remembering right, in this seed, because of the Hell Run option. And they're like, I guess I just was trying to play more down logic, and Speed Booster had already led to Kane and then also Flippers, so I felt good about it.
Yeah, Speed Booster, yeah, both of you ended up getting Flippers at roughly the same time. And Farfalu, how did you feel about, especially about deciding to go out of your way to get Flippers first?
Oh my god, that was really a lucky guess. I didn't really want to go there, but I knew I'd skip Blue Brain Star, so I said, yeah, maybe I'll go there, clear all the area. That was the idea, but yeah, it was a good guess.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I felt best about when I found it, and it sounds like we got there at about the same time. Sounds like your go mode was Bombos and Lord Norfair. Mine was Bow in, I guess, Criteria nominally, but upper wrecked ship.
Yeah, that pretty much was it.
Yeah, I found Bombus kind of late. I don't even remember where it was.
It was in Mount Ridley.
Fireflies?
Mount Ridley.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ridley, yes.
Yeah, I was pretty stoked about it, but I still was missing the bow, and so I immediately went and chased Bombos because I was like, okay, well that's Mire, Pyramid Fairy, Turtle Rock. Go -1. I've got 2 crystals. Like, let's go. It's going to show up on Laser Bridge, right? And then, of course, it was just waiting for me in Wreck Ship.
I think the only thing you got, well, the thing you got out of Turtle Rock was a bait, because
Yeah, I
you
got.
didn't see this. Book was on Trinex.
Well, Farfaloo would have seen it because it was a crystal, but
Right.
yeah, the book led to like a big 23 bombs and knowledge that Space Jump was on pedestal.
And technically
As
microwave
well as
beam.
X-ray scope.
Oh, X-ray scope. That was the other thing. Yeah. So X-ray actually was useful. If I botch stand up, you can fix the second part. So I was able to get a couple extra shots on Mother Brain. So
Your
didn't feel as
stand
bad
up
about
was actually really good. You only had 1 hyper beam shot left.
Actually, that was for both of you. Both of your stand-ups were very solid and on point.
Yeah, despite the Farfaloo's Gauntlet hiccup early in the seed, yeah, your movement and execution overall were both pretty good. Although
Well, thank you.
Maniacal, the
just-
ice. Sorry, you first. I'm sorry.
But just I want to say thank you. I was the first surprise was myself. Normally it takes about 4 or 5 hyper beams. So that one was pretty solid. Yes.
I was gonna say we did notice, Maniacal, that last ice Armos night was kind of bullying you.
He was a
Yeah,
jerk.
it gave you the business.
Yeah, I mean, I did go out of my way to get Blue Cane. So I went and got Blue Cane because of 7 hearts and wanting to route Spike Cave. Just to explain why I went back to the library at all. And then, like, found half magic. I think it was, like, East Death Mountain had half magic or something, where by the time I got to Spike Cave, I would have been able to just do it with the cape anyway, so.
I don't even think it was East Death Mountain. I don't think East Death Mountain had anything.
Okay,
No,
well,
East
besides-
Death Mountain was a wash. It was the wine cellar that had half magic.
okay, yeah, I found it pretty immediately and didn't feel great about having gotten the Blue Cane at that point, but did get to run a couple Blue Cane strats. Could have turned it on for that Jerk Ice Armos and had fun there. But yeah, that's why I grabbed the Blue Cane, was thinking about the Spike Cave situation. And then half magic made it super easy.
All right. Well, is there anything else, gentlemen, that you would like to say before we close out today?
No, just GG's to Aussie, Farfaloo. Looks like PP-Chan, Nidorific, Ace Zero, and Bressingham have finished as well in that order. Good crew. If anyone's thinking about joining these weeklies, they're awesome. There's usually a pretty good crew of regulars in them, and it's a lot of fun. So another one tomorrow night at 9 Eastern.
Correct. That is a normal logic co-op.
Ooh,
That's
that should be
true.
an interesting one.
Oh, co-op.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to send some DMs.
Yeah, we did just post the links to the to the SMZ3 Discord in chat as well. So if you have not already, again, folks, go follow both of these runners because they put on a fantastic show for you here tonight. We also want to shout out Ike here, our fabulous tracker tonight, who has done a great job making sure everybody knows who has what, especially with early swords. Definitely put to work this time around. And
Yeah, it's not often we know where every sword is in 20 minutes, and even a standalone Z3R, much less an SMZ3, where sometimes we don't see all 4 swords until like the 2-hour mark.
yeah, both of you had 7 boss kills with Butter Sword in tow.
Yeah, I think I got the 4th one at about 25 minutes. It was pretty early, rocking the old green mail gold sword situation.
Yeah, Maniacal, your butter sword was near Edicoon's, and Farfelu, yours was back of Gauntlet.
Yeah, I knew that one, so I knew I had to came back to Moon Pearl, so I just got it as well.
All right.
This seed went from being a potential Aghanim situation to being pretty darn quick, which was very nice to see, I might add. And amongst
Indeed.
the other runners in the field, I'm going to speak for all of 2020 here in terms of folks who've come along strong this year. Blandation is a runner that has come on very strong in 2020, and 2021 is shaping up to being a very good year for them, I have to admit.
All right. Well, I think that is going to, on that note, we are going to close out. So we've all said our pieces here. And Leslie, thank you for joining me up here in the booth tonight. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, the pleasure was all mine. I just happened to have today off from work, so I figured, why not? So I don't get to play these very often, and commentary even less so I figured today was a good day for the commentary side of things. Who knows? I might just jump in the co-op tomorrow night if I feel up to it, or I might just save myself for another weekly down the road. Who knows? But still, 2020 has been a very fun year for SMZ3, and I am looking forward to seeing what we have in store for this community going forward into 2021.
Indeed. With that said, folks, we will be back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. with the normal co-op weekly on channel, soon to be determined. But with that said, thank you all for watching. Enjoy the rest of your night, and we will see you next mission.
That we will, GGs. And until next mission, take care of yourselves and those that you care for. Till then, take care, y'all.